Chapter 5692. Could it be that there was something wrong with the demonic shadow behind him? Lin Xian frowned. However, he couldn't stop using it. This was an era of great competition. Everyone wanted to become a great emperor. And in the depths of the deity ground, there was the Permitha realm, which was his great enemy. The demon emperor's ability had many terrifying powers. It was impossible for Lin Xian not to use it. Therefore, he could only be more vigilant. After dealing with the surrounding vengeful spirits, the two continued to descend. Their strength was very terrifying. They could fight above their level. At the very least, they could kill 6 crowned kings as easily as cutting vegetables. Therefore, although endless vengeful spirits and skeletons appeared at the bottom of the Broken Soul Cliff, they couldn't stop Lin Xian and Xinqingqiu's pace. However, the lower they went, the more terrifying the skeletons were. In the end, almost all of them were at the level of a quasi-emperor. There were even many at the level of 6 crowned kings. It could be seen that some of these skeletons were well preserved. There were also some that were formed from the combination of other bones. It was obvious that they had been cultivated for tens of thousands of years. However, they still couldn't stop Lin Xian. His 10,000 swords returned to origin sword technique became stronger and stronger. The Demon Emperor's ability also seemed to be more terrifying. On the other side, Xinqingqiu also used the Demon Emperor's ability. Lin Xian could see that the other party walked the divine Tao. However, she seemed to have only used 2 Demon Emperors. One was the Moon God's seal. It seemed that nothing could block that attack. In addition, the Golden Vortex could deflect attacks and also pull enemies to her side. Previously, the Quasi-Emperors were all pulled to Xinqingqiu's side by the Golden Vortex. Then, Xinqingqiu used the Moon God's seal. Then, the enemy died. There seemed to be a cave abode below. Lin Xian's Rinnegan shone brightly as he warned. After Xinqingqiu heard this, she was surprised. Big brother Lin Xian was heading toward that cave abode. Her soul wasn't as terrifying as Lin Xian's Rinnegan. The soul suppression of the Broken Soul Cliff is very strong, only Lin Xian's Rinnegan can detect it clearly. Lin Xian nodded. One sword soared into the sky, and 10,000 swords converged. He immediately opened up a passage and the two of them flew towards the cave residence. Roar! A low roar came from the cave abode below, as if some kind of order had been given. After receiving the order, the vengeful spirits and skeletons in the surroundings went crazy to block them. They formed an endless army of skeletons and resentful spirits that kept charging. Xinqingqiu's palm changed. It was no longer the moon's seal but the moon's scimitar. Many golden vortexes appeared around her, flying out from within. Thousands of crescent sabers slashed out, sweeping through the surroundings. The boundless white bones in front of them shattered continuously. Lin Xian, on the other hand, used the demonic song, demonic slaughter of the 9 heavens. Hordes of white bones also fell. The two of them continued to approach the immortal's cave. Finally, they arrived in front of it. Roar! An earth-shattering roar came from inside the cave abode. Then, a huge creature walked out from inside. It was also a skeletal creature. However, it had 3 heads. Each head carried a different law power. The one on the left was storm, the one in the middle was thunder, and the one on the right was frost. After Lin Xian saw it, he was surprised. It was the 3-headed hellhound. He didn't expect to see it here again. Lin Xian had seen the 3-headed hellhound before, but that was far inferior to the one in front of him. Judging from the aura of the 3-headed hellhound, it should have reached the level of the 7-crowned king. Stupid humans, get out! This is not a place you can set foot in. Leave quickly. The 3-headed hellhound, the middle head, said coldly. Countless purple lightning surrounded it as if it was going to destroy the surroundings. Humph, you can't guard that thing, Xinqingqiu said coldly. She said, Brother Lin Xian, help me restrain this 3-headed hellhound. However, don't kill it before I come out. I'll go in and take that thing. Wait for me to come out. After saying that, Xinqingqiu soared into the air and flew forward. You're courting death. The 3-headed hellhound was furious. The other party dared to enter. It slapped over with its paw. This paw was extremely terrifying. It was indeed the power of the seven-crowned king. The surrounding skeletal creatures kept crawling back. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He stretched out his palm, and his sun-like palm blocked the other party's paw. At the same time, he said, "Your opponent is me." He blocked the three-headed hellhound's path. "You're courting death." The three-headed hellhound roared at the sky. The middle head shot out a terrifying bolt of lightning toward Lin Xian. At the same time, the left head shot out a black wind blade toward Xinjingqiu. Xinjingqiu flipped her hand and blocked it with the seal of the moon. Her figure fluttered and entered the cave abode. The three-headed hellhound was completely furious. It definitely wouldn't allow anyone to obtain the thing inside. Its huge body leaped high into the air and charged over. However, it stopped in midair. This was because an eye of reincarnation had reached out from the cave abode. A heavenly hand pressed it to the ground. Lin Xian waved his hand, and his sword sliced through the air. He blocked the other party's path and said coldly, "Before Chior comes out, stay here quietly." Although it wasn't impossible for him to kill the seven-crowned king with his trump card, Xinjingqiu didn't say anything. Xinjingqiu had said not to kill the Cerberus, so Lin Xian wouldn't kill it. Damn it! The three-headed hellhound roared at the sky. The head on the right unleashed a blue frost that froze heaven and earth in an attempt to seal Lin Xian. It didn't have time to play with this ant. When the blue frost approached Lin Xian, it was blocked by the flames on Lin Xian's body. The 9 suns' divine fire turned into countless suns that spun between heaven and earth. The two clashed, and countless cracks appeared. Damn it, this ant is so difficult to deal with. The three-headed hellhound was furious. The 3 heads turned and stared at Lin Xian. It had to deal with this brat first before it could enter the cave abode to protect it. The thing inside wasn't that easy to obtain. As it thought of this, the 3-headed hellhound attacked with all its might. Lin Xian's expression was ice-cold as he faced the attacks of the 3 laws and a terrifying aura. He laughed coldly, and his sword aura danced, splitting the lightning in the sky. Flames spread and blocked the terrifying ice storm. As for the terrifying wind blades, Lin Xian used the unparalleled fierce Sunday. A fire god's palace appeared and blocked the wind blades. At the same time, he used the true water sword technique. The water sword aura turned into chains that trapped the hellhound. The hellhound kept roaring. How could a mere 5-crowned king be so terrifying? He was truly shocked. At this moment, an earth-shattering roar came from the cave abode. At the same time, a terrifying and mysterious aura spread. The 3-headed hellhound went completely crazy. Hellfire appeared on its body. Damn it, that woman can actually break the seal. Even Lin Xian was shocked. This aura was too unusual. He activated the eye of reincarnation in the sky and looked into the cave abode. In the next moment, he saw an unbelievable scene. Chapter 5693. The inside of the cave was very vast. In the depths there was something. It was an ancient bronze coffin. However, it was different from the bronze coffins Lin Xian had seen before. This ancient coffin was very large. It seemed to be 3 ancient coffins stacked together. On the outside, there were many patterns carved with bronze runes. Each layer was different. It seemed to be 3 different lives. At this moment, Xinjingqiu slammed her palm on the ancient bronze coffin. The ancient bronze coffin shook violently. The topmost one actually opened. Damn it, how could she open the 3 lives bronze coffin? The hell dog roared crazily. Hellfire spread out from his body, forming a hell armor that covered his entire body. Then, he blasted away the true water sword Qi and turned to attack Lin Xian. Above the 3 heads, an extremely terrifying law exploded. And die. Obviously, he was really angry. Lin Xian was suddenly hit by this power. He kept retreating, his blood boiling. However, his physique was indeed strong. He actually blocked it. However, he was also angry. The sword Qi on his body exploded, turning into countless sword lights that flew forward, directly cutting off the hell dog's 2 front claws. The hell dog's huge body fell heavily to the ground, letting out an earth-shaking roar. Damn it! He was crazy. Did his full-strength attack not kill the other party? Instead, the other party's sword she could cut his body in half. Lin Xian rose into the air, murderous. He said coldly, "If Chior didn't let me kill you, do you think you can live until now?" The sword chi on his body became even sharper. Although Seven Crown King was terrifying, Lin Xian had killed him before. Previously, the sixth dragon general had fallen. Lin Xian's current trump cards, whether it was the Great Dragon Sword, the Heaven-Devouring Jar, or the Universe Ring and Sword World, all of them had the strength to kill Seven Crown King. Therefore, Lin Xian's power exploded at this moment. The hell dog howled. Damn it! The body of the Cerberus split open, and a destructive lightning burst out from the middle head. Want to self-destruct? Lin Xian frowned. This fellow couldn't win, so he wanted to sacrifice himself. With a kacha sound, the body of the Cerberus broke apart, turning into a bloody mist as it died. It didn't attack Lin Xian, which made Lin Xian even more surprised. However, there was no blood mist in the sky, only countless law fragments floating in the air. In the next instant, they all disappeared. At the same time, a deep and low roar sounded from the cave. "Foolish human, I will not let you succeed." "What's going on?" Lin Xian was stunned and probed with Rinnegan. He discovered that the Cerberus that had fallen in the cave had actually come back to life. Then, he charged toward Shinjingqiu. With a boom, Shinjingqiu was sent flying, and 3 cracks appeared on her back. Lin Xian was instantly enraged. He rushed in. "Qiu'er, are you all right?" Lin Xian caught Shinjingqiu and used his strength to suppress her injuries. At the same time, with a flip of his hand, he took out a few spirit fruits from his previous world and put them on Shinjingqiu's wounds. Shinjingqiu's wounds healed quickly. Her face was a little pale as she said, "I'm fine." Lin Xian had an apologetic look on his face. "He self-destructed just now. I didn't know he could be reborn," Shinjingqiu said. "It's my fault. I didn't expect him to be able to kill himself. This Cerberus isn't a living creature, but a puppet. The reason why he was sealed here was related to the 3 lives bronze coffin. He could only wander around this cave and its vicinity. Once he died, he would be reborn in the cave. He would never be reincarnated. It could be said that he was quite miserable." Lin Xian sucked in a breath of cold air after hearing this. There was actually such a thing? No wonder Shinjingqiu didn't let him kill the Cerberus. It turned out that it couldn't be killed. However, could someone really not enter the cycle of reincarnation? Lin Xian was shocked. This was just a 7-crown king. Some emperors probably didn't have such means. Shinjingqiu said, "It has something to do with the 3 lives bronze coffin. Moreover, this state was very miserable. Not everyone wanted it. 2 ants, it seems like you know a lot. However, none of you can take what I'm protecting." Lin Xian stood up. He said, "Qiu'er, continue attacking. Leave this Cerberus to me. I won't let him hurt you." After saying that, Lin Xian strode forward in large strides. He had been careless before and made a mistake. Now, after he understood the Cerberus's background, he wouldn't let him attack again. "Stupid!" the Cerberus roared. His physique seemed to have reached its peak. The hellish armor appeared on his body once again, and his 3 heads exploded with a terrifying aura. This time, Lin Xian was enraged. The Rinnegan rushed directly to the head in the middle, and the head roared madly. Despicable eyes! The Cerberus roared and attacked again. The left head turned into a wind dragon and swept through the sky. However, it was shattered by a golden palm. The 9 suns' divine palm pressed down on that head. As for the right head, it was pierced by a sword. The Cerberus howled. Damn it! It was pierced by that terrifying sword chi again. He couldn't imagine what kind of sword chi it was. How could it be so terrifying? He wanted to self-destruct again and appear in another place. However, at this time, a black vortex appeared in the sky. The heaven-devouring jar appeared and enveloped the Cerberus. It wasn't that easy to destroy it. Damn it, this was the aura of an extreme Tao. The Cerberus finally trembled. It turned out that this human had an extreme Tao weapon. He howled. This time, the Cerberus was controlled by the heaven-devouring jar. It was equivalent to being suppressed. In addition, Lin Xian's Rinnegan was interfering with the Cerberus's soul. It made it impossible for the Cerberus to self-destruct again. Lin Xian finally breathed a sigh of relief. He turned around and saw that Xinjingqiu had opened the 3 lives bronze coffin. A mysterious aura emerged from the coffin. There was also a fragrance. This fragrance made Lin Xian frown. He used the dragon sword spirit to cut off everything. At the same time, he said, "Qiu, be careful. It's okay, brother Lin Xian." Xinjingqiu didn't seem to be afraid of the fragrance. Instead, she flew up high. There was indeed something. A smile finally appeared on Xinjingqiu's cold face. Lin Xian was also surprised. He used his Rinnegan and formed a heaven's eye to look down. In the next moment, he was shocked. There was a corpse in the 3 lives bronze coffin. At this moment, the corpse's eyes were closed. The person looked very young. It seemed that he was from the younger generation. Moreover, Lin Xian found that there was more than one corpse. There were 3 corpses. The 3 bronze coffins were stacked together. Lin Xian could see through them at a glance. There were 3 young figures lying there. What was more shocking was that the 3 of them looked the same. Were these 3 brothers? Or were they the same person? If they were brothers, it was understandable. If they were the same person, then it was too terrifying. One had to know. Incarnations, clones, and the like dissipated when they died. Only the original body could exist. This person actually had 3 original bodies? Chapter 5694. Xinjingqiu made a hand seal, and the golden vortex flew down. Between the eyebrows of the sleeping man at the top, there was a crack. Suddenly, a crack appeared, but no blood flowed out. Instead, a piece of precious jade appeared. The precious jade was sparkling and translucent, as if it was made of exquisite crystal. As soon as it appeared, it carried a mysterious aura. Even Lin Xian was surprised by the aura. After Xinjingqiu got it, she quickly sealed it and put it away. She raised her chin again with a smile. It's about time. Roar! 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 The Cerberus roared crazily when it saw this scene. At the same time, it was shocked. You can get the corpse fragrance demonic jade! It was truly unbelievable. One must know that what was buried in the 3 lives bronze coffins was an extremely frightening existence. The other party was actually able to obtain it so easily. Who exactly was this woman? Corpse fragrance demonic jade? Lin Xian was also surprised when he heard this. He looked at Xinjingqiu. Xinjingqiu said, "Brother Lin Xian, this thing is useful to me. But don't worry, it can't threaten me." Lin Xian was relieved when he heard this. Just as they were about to leave, the demonic aura on Lin Xian's body suddenly appeared, and the demonic shadow appeared behind him. Xinjingqiu's expression changed. Even Lin Xian said in horror that he didn't use the phantom demon scripture. The demonic shadow behind him charged directly toward the 3 lives bronze coffin. He didn't rush toward the first sleeping corpse, but the third one. That was the one at the bottom. After he rushed in, he merged with the corpse. What happened? Lin Xian was stunned. The Cerberus roared. Why is there another attack? And it's attacking the body? He felt despair. However, after waiting for a while, he found that the third sleeping corpse didn't break. Instead, the black demonic shadow walked out of the corpse again. With a boom, he came behind Lin Xian again. Then, the demonic aura on him faded and slowly disappeared. The entire process did not take long, but it was extremely strange. Lin Xian felt a chill run down his spine. He realized that this demonic shadow could actually move on its own. This was truly beyond his expectations. There was indeed something wrong with the illusion demon scripture. Xinjingqiu frowned and said, Big Brother Lin Xian, the phantom devil scripture is too dangerous. Indeed, Lin Xian was also wondering if he should look for a new emperor's lost skill. It seemed like he was going to search for a new succession in the tomb of the martial monarch. Brother Lin Xian, take this with you. Xin Jingqiu took out a jade pendant from her storage ring. It was a black jade pendant with a mountain engraved on it. It gave off a cold aura, and Lin Xian put it on after receiving it. He felt his body tremble, as if he had become much more relaxed. Xin Jingqiu said, Big Brother Lin Xian, you must take this jade pendant with you. Perhaps it can help you suppress this strange phantom demon scripture. Qiu, how did you get this? Lin Xian was shocked. Xin Jingqiu said, This belongs to the moon god. The moon god? This made Lin Xian even more curious. He did not know what the relationship between the moon god and the demon emperor was. Why did he feel so relaxed after taking the moon god's item? Could it be that the demon emperor was afraid? Or was there another reason? He asked Xin Jingqiu, but Xin Jingqiu could only shake her head. Lin Xian did not ask any more questions, and the two of them left the place. The Cerberus was sent flying by Lin Xian, and it did not dare to come up again. It could only roar in the distance. The 3 lives bronze coffin slowly closed. They did not know that the sleeping corpse at the bottom of the coffin had a strange smile on its face. Qiu, are you leaving again? Lin Xian asked. Xin Jingqiu nodded. Big Brother Lin Xian, now is not the time to be together. All right, Lin Xian knew. He said, then stay with me for a while. The two of them found a quiet place. Lin Xian started a fire and took out many spiritual fruits. Xin Jingqiu rested her head on Lin Xian's shoulder. She said, Big Brother Lin Xian, don't move. I want to stay here quietly for a while. It was quiet all around, and even the wind seemed to have stopped. Only the sound of the fire in front of them could be heard from time to time. Lin Xian also quieted down. He did not know how long it had been since he last had such a quiet night. The next day, Xin Jingqiu left as soon as the sun rose. Before she left, she repeatedly reminded Lin Xian to bring the black jade pendant with him. At the same time, she asked Lin Xian to change his technique as soon as possible. It would be best if he did not use the demon illusion scripture anymore. Lin Xian sighed as he gazed at Xin Jingqiu's departing figure. However, he quickly adjusted his state of mind as his expression turned solemn. What was so strange about the demon illusion scripture? Lin Xian once again used the demonic energy. The demonic clouds in his body rolled and condensed into the phantom of the demon god. This time, Lin Xian directly turned his head to face this mysterious phantom. The two of them confronted each other just like that. The illusory figure became even more corporeal than before. It was as if it was a real existence. It also seemed to have crossed the ancient time and space. The reincarnation light in Lin Xian's eyes bloomed with an extremely terrifying light. It enveloped the other party. At the same time, he whispered, Is the demon illusion scripture really going to summon the demon emperor back? From the name, one could tell that the demon illusion scripture was extremely terrifying. Lin Xian previously thought that it was only summoning the power of the demon realm. Now it seemed that it was probably summoning the demon emperor. Of course, this was just his guess. It seemed that he really had to use the demon emperor's supernatural power less in the future. He waved his hand, and the surrounding demonic energy disappeared. The phantom also disappeared. Lin Xian looked up at the sky. If the great emperor can create a supernatural power, why can't I? Lin Xian decided that he also wanted to create his own Tao and supernatural power. The universe was chaotic, and there were all kinds of people. Lin Xian had also experienced a lot. He grew from a weak martial artist to a powerful warrior. He had a universe in his heart. Lin Xian's eyes were shining. A sword light appeared in his hand and he kept dancing. With the dragon as the soul and everything as the sword, this sword technique was called the universe. A sword came from the west and turned into a giant dragon, dancing in the sky. Then, it turned into a fierce tiger and roared. Every move was a sword. Everything in the world could be a sword. Lin Xian entered the world of swords and kept practicing the universe sword technique. At this moment, Lin Xian had a world in his body and a universe in his heart. On the other side, more and more people appeared near the tomb of the great emperor. There were chosen immortals from the edge of the deity ground and overlords from the depths of the deity ground. There were also great emperor families and clan of the ancients from the outer universe. These people were scattered all over the place. Their goal was the great earth tomb. These people didn't act rashly because they felt an extremely terrifying soul aura coming from the tomb in front of them. Everyone's soul was suppressed here. What a terrifying aura! Murong Qingqing also came, followed by some overlords of the Phoenix clan. On the other side, Yenryu also came, followed by many monsters. These were the overlords of the Monster Emperor Mountain. In addition, the Crimson Dragon, the Toad, and the others also came. Chapter 5695. Murong Qingqing, Yenryu, Rizalong, and the others also met up. Qingqing asked, "Where's Brother Xian?" The Crimson Dragon said, "He's not here yet, but I've already sent him a message through the array. He should know. He definitely wouldn't miss it." Yenryu was surprised. There are so many people here. They even saw some familiar faces. Indeed, they saw people from the Kunping clan, the Qilin clan, the Gu clan, and the Yi clan. At the same time, she asked, "Sister Xueqi didn't come?" Rizalong said, "No. After she broke through and became a quasi-emperor, she continued to comprehend the 9 divine body. This time, she probably wouldn't come." The toad next to them jumped over and said with a smile, "Damn it, I see a detestable person." He pointed ahead. Yenryu and the others turned to look. The next moment, their expressions changed. They found an acquaintance, and it was an enemy. Mansion Master Z. Not only did he come, but he also had many people with him. Damn it! The Crimson Dragon also frowned. Those who went against the Divine Union back then were unlucky. This Sifu was originally suppressed by us, so how come it's doing so well in the celestial land of creation? We have to be careful. Murong Qingqing frowned. I heard from Brother Xian that the identity behind them isn't simple. It seems to be related to the powerful existence in the deity ground. The leader of the purple government was also looking around. When he saw Murong Qingqing and the others, he sneered. Indeed, they had appeared. However, what made him frown was that he hadn't found Lin Xian yet. However, he didn't care. This time, these people from the Divine Union were doomed. He wasn't in a hurry to make a move. He had already received news that the other side had sent a great emperor this time. Although it wasn't his father, it was still very terrifying. In addition, there was a group of experts. There was even a group of experts by his side now. In addition to the original members of the Purple Mansion, there were also experts from other clans in the depths of the deity ground. His mission was to support the green-robed Great Emperor. Furthermore, they were waiting to explore the ancient tomb. Members of the Divine Union, enjoy your last days, as your time of death has come. House Master Z laughed coldly. Crimson Dragon and the others frowned. It seemed like the Z government wasn't going to stop this time. Zifu, are you tired of living? At this moment, a cold voice resounded between heaven and earth. House Master Z's face turned cold. Murong Qingqing and the others cried out in alarm. Brother Xian. A young figure descended from the sky. It was Lin Xian. Kid, you're finally here. The Crimson Dragon and the other members of the Divine Union heaved a sigh of relief. Lin Xian nodded. He had indeed come. Previously, he had created his own sword technique in the sword world, Jianquan's sword technique. Later, he received a message from the Crimson Dragon. Since these people had already gathered in front of the martial monarch tomb, there was no way he would miss it. Therefore, he rushed over. When he arrived, he saw the members of the Z government threatening the Divine Union. He was instantly enraged. This House Master Z really didn't know what was good for him. House Master Z's eyes lit up. Linwoody, you're finally here. I thought you wouldn't dare to show up. You're going to die soon. However, he didn't make a move. Instead, he laughed coldly. This made Lin Xian frown. He looked at Qing Qing and the others and said, "Be careful. Behind the Z government is the otherworld Heavenly King. They are the real overlords, and they are extremely terrifying. I think they might make a move this time. There are many families in the depths of the deity land that listen to the otherworld Heavenly King." Yen Ryu and the others all gasped. They had heard about how terrifying the families in the deity ground were. They were far more powerful than anything else. If such families listened to the otherworld Heavenly King, they could imagine how terrifying the otherworld Heavenly King was. Who was this kid? The surrounding experts of the families in the deity land looked at Lin Xian in confusion. They didn't know the house master of the Z government, but the experts standing beside him were extremely terrifying. Their scalps tingled. They were all terrifying quasi-emperors. Obviously, this woman in purple was extraordinary. She might even be an expert in the depths of the deity land. It was really surprising that a young man had offended such an existence. Could it be that he was also a young master of some family? They were puzzled. At the same time, they checked Lin Xian's identity. At this time, Shui Yunru, Quan Yiming, and the others also flew over. Young master. They came to Lin Xian's side. Not only did they come, but the patriarchs and families behind them also came. The 6 chosen immortal clans came to Lin Xian's side and bowed respectfully. The surrounding people were shocked. This young man was extraordinary. He was superior to the 6 chosen immortal clans. However, some people sneered. I know that his name is Lin Wudi. However, the chosen immortal clans around him are just marginal families. They are nothing. So that's how it is. After hearing this, Housemaster Z also sneered. Boy, do you think you can compete with me with these 6 families? You're really naive. Housemaster Zero, don't worry. This boy will definitely die. A few powerful figures next to him laughed and spoke. They didn't take the 6 major sects seriously at all. Kaiser Blood and the others also frowned. They felt an extremely terrifying aura from these people. They were as if they were facing a great enemy. Mandela said, "Young master, who are these people?" Lin Xian said, "It doesn't matter. They're just former enemies. If they don't know what's good for them, I don't mind sending them to hell." What did you say? Someone on the opposite side was instantly angry. He took a step forward, and the power on his body swept through the world. There was also a person surrounded by sword light. He was like a sword immortal, and a terrifying aura erupted. Everyone was shocked. Some people were watching the show. Was the war going to break out in advance? How interesting. At this time, there was the sound of something breaking through the air in the distance. The sky was surrounded by demonic chi. It was extremely terrifying. The aura was majestic and overwhelming. There were hundreds of thousands of experts. These people were wearing black armor and holding terrifying sharp blades in their hands. They were like rolling demonic clouds that came close. In the sky there was also a tall figure. The terrifying aura covered the 9 heavens. Everyone looked at this scene and sucked in a breath of cold air. People of the Black Demon clan! Heavens, they were really terrifying. There were so many of them. Were they all here? Everyone was going crazy. Although these families also brought a lot of people. But the Black Demon clan was probably the only clan that could cover the sky with hundreds of thousands, or even millions of people. That tall figure was the Black Demon clan leader, right? Why do I feel like he's the 7-crown champion? Countless cries of surprise rang out. Lin Xian also turned his head to look. Then, the corners of his mouth curled up. It was the Hell Dragon. The Black Demon clan leader was no longer the 6th Dragon General. He was his friend, the Hellfire Dragon. Boom! 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 Beside the Hellfire Dragon, there was another figure. This person was surrounded by killing intent. It was the sect leader of the Kun sect. At the same time, many terrifying slaughter saints appeared, blotting out the sky. Chapter 5696. Those from the Slayer Soul sect felt the terrifying killing intent. Many of the chosen immortal clan members felt their scalps go numb. Even the people from the imperial clans were frowning deeply. These Slayer saints were extremely terrifying and unpredictable. They couldn't be offended easily. Under the gaze of countless people, the Hellfire Dragon and the Slayer Soul sect's leader flew forward. They came to Lin Xian's side. The Hellfire Dragon smiled and greeted Lin Xian. The Slayer Soul sect's leader bowed respectfully to Lin Xian. This scene left the surrounding people dumbfounded. Those from the chosen immortal clan gasped. Heavens, they were actually greeting this young man. Who was this young man? He could actually talk and laugh with Seven-Crowned King. At this moment, the bodies of those who had been sneering and looking down on Lin Xian began to tremble. Seven-Crowned King, and the patriarch of the Black Demon clan. This identity was indeed enough to sweep through a region. Although the Slayer Soul sect's leader was Six-Crowned King, he led millions of Slayer saints. It wasn't a problem for him to kill Seven-Crowned King. Even such a person bowed his head. It was enough to show how terrifying Lin Xian was. Yan Ryu, Murong Qingcheng, and the others were shocked. The Crimson Dragon was excited. This is great. Lin Xian seems to have subdued many experts again. Their strength had increased once again. Lin Xian looked at the Purple Mansion's leader and smiled. Do you want to fight? A faint voice was heard, but it sounded like thunder in everyone's ears. Are they going to fight? They were all shocked. The Hellfire Dragon also turned his head. Oh. Do you want to fight? I also want to try my skills. He had just obtained a new body. Naturally, he wanted to show off his abilities. Damn it. The Purple Mansion's leader frowned. He sneered before. However, when he saw the lineup beside Lin Xian, he couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. This lineup was enough to threaten him. The faces of the other experts were also cold. They snorted coldly but did not make a move. Lin Xian sneered. Trash. After saying that, he turned his head and ignored her. The leader of the Z government looked gloomy. The strong cultivators around him were so angry that they coughed up blood. They came from the depths of the celestial land. When had they ever been called trash? Damn it, I'm going to teach him a lesson. The man surrounded by saber light said coldly. Our 10,000 Sabers sect has never been looked down upon. Another person with a terrifying sword light also said coldly. Don't worry, the people from the Immortal Sword sect will be here soon. When the 10,000 swords attack together, he will die for sure. These people were waiting for their companions. On the other side, the Hellfire Dragon sighed. How boring, these people are so cowardly. After saying that, he looked into the distance. That must be the tomb of the great emperor. I'm really looking forward to it. The Crimson Dragon's eyelids twitched violently. Why do I sense a terrifying dragon aura from you? Are you a dragon? He jumped up. The Hellfire Dragon said, Little guy, when I swept the world, you weren't even born yet. Damn it. The Crimson Dragon was angry. Toad, bite him. The toad spat. Go away, I'm not a dog. That's enough. You two should stop arguing. Lin Xian scolded with a smile. He transmitted his voice to the Crimson Dragon and told him what happened. The Crimson Dragon, Yan Ryu, and the others all gasped. They did not expect such a thing to happen. Especially the Crimson Dragon, he was surprised. You are the ancient Hellfire Dragon. The Hellfire Dragon also smiled. You are a 5-clawed divine dragon, right? But you are too young. Do you want me to teach you a few powerful techniques of the Dragon Clan? Really? The Crimson Dragon's eyes also lit up. The Hellfire Dragon said, Of course, as long as you are my little brother. The dark red divine dragon was enraged. The array formation covered the sky and the earth as it attacked. The Hellfire Dragon dodged with a smile and said, Think about it, it's not shameful to be my little brother. Little Lin, I want to hit him, don't stop me. The Crimson Dragon was murderous. Lin Xian said, Stop fooling around, I feel the aura in front is extremely unusual. The power of this soul is too terrifying. Indeed. The Hellfire Dragon also stopped and frowned. This is a soul, thou great Emperor, and I even guess that this is the tomb of the Soul Emperor. The Soul Emperor? Lin Xian was surprised. Indeed, the ordinary Soul Dao could not suppress the Rinnegan so much. Only the Soul Emperor could. Suddenly he remembered that when he was in the Moon Palace, he saw a woman who claimed to be the daughter of the Soul Emperor. He didn't know if she had come out. If she could come out, maybe it would be much safer to enter the tomb of the Soul Emperor. But now, there was no time to look for her. The others were also discussing and preparing. After about a day, the Purple Mansion Master walked out and took a deep breath. It's about time, let's make a move first. Although the powerhouses like the Half-Frog did not come, they were well prepared this time. So, they had to be the vanguard and make the first move. In addition to the powerhouses of the Purple Mansion, there were also many people from the 10,000 Knives sect and the Immortal Sword sect. They also nodded. Although they came from the depths of the deity ground, and the Purple Mansion was only a sect in the small universe outside. But they did not dare to be careless. The woman in front of them was related to the powerhouses of the Nirvana realm. So, they had to listen to her. The Purple Mansion Master spoke, and the surrounding people walked up. Dozens of figures appeared, holding terrifying banners in their hands. As soon as these banners appeared, they bloomed with terrifying light, and there were mysterious Tao runes on them. What are these? Looking at the 36 black banners, the surrounding chosen Immortal Clan and the other powerhouses were also surprised. An elder of the chosen Immortal Clan exclaimed, "Are these array-breaking banners? Could these people have come from the depths of the deity ground?" As soon as these words were said, the others were also shocked. What were array-breaking banners? Some of the older generation said, "These are banners specially used to deal with array formations." Although the enemy's attack power was not strong, it was still very strong. However, it had a natural restraining effect on formations and could be used to break them. They were indeed from the depths of the deity ground. The immortal techniques and great Taos on them were very profound. Perhaps they were the only ones capable of doing such a thing. Their words were filled with envy. When the surrounding people heard this, their eyes also turned red, but no one dared to make a move. Who would dare to go against the people from the depths of the deity ground? The people of the Divine Union frowned. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. The Crimson Dragon snorted coldly. Array-breaking banners, so what? Master Dragon's attainments in array formations are not to be trifled with. Watch, I will break the array before them. Kid, let's go too. Lin Xian nodded and waved his hand, ordering the people of the Divine Union to get ready to move out. At the side, Yan Ryu summoned the people of the Demon Emperor Mountain, while Murong Qingqing summoned the people of the Phoenix Clan. The Hellfire Dragon summoned the people of the Soul Slayer sect and the Black Demon Clan. These people would join forces and move together. Seeing these figures that covered the sky and covered the earth, the surrounding people all sucked in a breath of cold air. Besides the array-breaking banners in the depths of the deity ground, Lin Xian's side had the greatest momentum. Chapter 5697. This Lin Wuti was really eye-catching. Qilin and the others gritted their teeth. The limelight of their monarch clans had been completely overshadowed. This time, their great emperor clans had also produced several quasi-emperors. The more powerful ones had already produced 5 quasi-emperors. Originally, they wanted to shine, but who would have thought that Lin Wuti was even more terrifying? Not only had Murong Qingqing and Yan Ryu become quasi-emperors, but he could also recruit many chosen immortal clans. Even the Black Demon Clan and the Soul Slayer sect had to rely on him. This was a force that their great emperor clans did not have. However, they were not discouraged. They still had a powerful trump card, which was an extreme weapon. Of course, this was their last trump card, and they would not use it easily. At this moment, these people also walked forward. In front of them was a cracked mountain peak, forming a canyon. Only by entering this canyon could they enter the tomb of the great emperor. And the protective array of the great emperor's tomb was absolutely terrifying. Boom! The people of the Purple Mansion took the lead. The black war flag fluttered between heaven and earth, fiercely rushing forward and landing in the canyon. With a boom, a shocking light erupted, and the array formation of the great emperor's tomb was activated. A terrifying soul aura swept in all directions. The black flag fluttered in the wind, as if it had turned into a black sea, sweeping everything away. It blocked this terrifying power. The Purple Mansion Master commanded, "Attack!" 36 black flags rushed forward, covering the sky and earth. They were attacking this area. Lin Xian also rushed over. "Crimson Dragon, it's up to you now." Rosalong nodded. He used the Earth scripture, and the surrounding earth shook as a terrifying array formation condensed. He wanted to use the array formation to break the array formation. In addition to them, the other chosen immortal clans, the clan of the ancients, and the monarch clans also moved. The battle was very terrifying. The power of the soul was constantly shaking, and like the sea, it slapped over. Saber light and sword shadows, lightning flashed, and thunder rumbled. Everyone was frantically trying to break the array formation, and the array formation shook violently. Everyone was happy. Was it going to be broken? That's great. However, Lin Xian frowned. Suddenly, he turned to Qin Qing, Diabolical Dragon, and the others and said, "Get out of the way." The group of people quickly dodged. At the same time, the formation in front of them cracked open. However, it did not break open. Instead, a terrifying power surged out from within. Boom! The rift surrounding the martial monarch tomb shattered instantly. Those who failed to escape in time were torn into pieces. There were also some people who were sent flying and coughing up blood. A sea of blood floated between heaven and earth. The pungent smell of blood permeated the air. The surrounding people were all going crazy. Some people ran away in fear. Hurry up and run. They were too naive. This was the tomb of a great emperor, an existence that had swept through the universe and stood at the peak of the universe. How could they open it so easily? These people's confidence suffered a blow, and they turned around to flee. There were also some whose eyes were bloodshot as they attacked in a frenzy. The martial monarch tomb was in perfect condition. It was obvious that no one had ever entered it. How many natural treasures would there be, as well as the clothes of the great emperor, and even the complete inheritance of the great emperor? How could they miss it? However, the impact from before was too terrifying. These people were all injured. Those from the monarch race also suffered some impact. At the crucial moment, they used extreme weapons to defend themselves, blocking most of the impact. Those from the Gu family tore open the rift and escaped. They were the least injured. However, their expressions were solemn because they realized that countless figures had appeared. There were at least 1 million of them. These people stood there with cold expressions. Their eyes were empty, but there was a mysterious soul Dao rune between their eyebrows that shone brightly. Puppets, and countless puppets. These people's souls were being controlled and turned into puppets. As expected of the great emperor's methods. The moment they appeared, there were at least 1 million of them. How strong must one's soul power be to be able to perform such a feat? The great emperor was indeed a pinnacle existence. After the Hellfire Dragon saw this, he took a deep breath and said, "This kid should be the sole Dao Great Emperor." Only those who had truly condensed immortal chi would have such strength and methods. Lin Xian took a deep breath and said to the people of the Divine Union behind him, "Prepare to attack." Those people behind him took a deep breath. Those from the 6 great chosen immortal clans were also on high alert. Those from the Black Devil race and the Phoenix race also had solemn expressions. In front of them, among the 1,000,000 puppets, there was a tall figure. He was riding a warhorse and roaring at the sky. The Soul Emperor's tomb was not to be disturbed. Those who trespassed would be killed without mercy. He waved the long spear in his hand and the warhorses neighed. The surrounding 1,000,000 puppets attacked together, blotting out the sky and covering the earth. Lin Xian also roared, Follow me to battle! Sword Chi appeared in his hand and shot into the sky. The people of the chosen immortal clan and the divine union roared at the sky. Their immortal techniques and abilities flew out in all directions. They weren't the only ones. The other clans and sects also attacked. A great battle broke out in an instant. Terrifying power swept through countless cracks and spread all around. Some people were instantly split apart, and their souls were destroyed. Some puppets were also sent flying, their bodies split apart. This battle was extremely tragic. Lin Xian's sword danced as if he was working out. His sword split open the sky like 9 suns. Wherever it passed, thousands of puppets were split apart. Murong Qingqing's body bloomed with a 7-colored phoenix. The phoenix race behind him cooperated with him and formed an immemorial phoenix phantom that swept forward. Wherever it passed, it was torn apart by the sharp claws and wings of the phoenix. Those from the Black Devil race unleashed a monstrous demonic chi that engulfed everything. Any puppets that came close were all shattered and lost their ability to fight. Those from the Purple Mansion were equally terrifying. The Purple Mansion had many kinds of secret techniques and abilities that were constantly attacking. The Purple Mansion master used a large black flag in his hand to attack the array formation. Those from the 10,000 Sabers sect unleashed thousands of rays of light that swept across the sky. Each ray of light was like a peerless wild blade that fell mercilessly. Those from the Immortal Sword sect stepped on flying swords and unleashed monstrous sword chi that swept across the sky like the Milky Way. As for those puppets, apart from those that were broken, there were also some that were terrifying. For example, the expert who was holding a war spear and riding a war horse charged forward with his spear like a dragon. It instantly pierced through dozens of experts from the chosen immortal race. The long spear vibrated and these people were split into pieces. Behind him was a puppet that was over 10,000 meters tall. It had a war hammer in its left hand and an axe in its right hand. It was constantly swinging its axe. Each hammer crushed everything, while the giant axe could split open the sky. More and more people fell. However, the array formation was once again under attack. Lin Xian and the others launched a powerful attack. Their divine bodies bloomed and turned into a sea of fire. Each punch turned into a sun. Countless suns were like meteors and shooting stars. Wherever they passed, the void was shattered and countless black holes were formed. He led the people from the divine union and charged forward. Chapter 5698. In the rift ahead, 3,000 puppets emitted terrifying lightning, which transformed into a thunderous sword slashing in Lin Xian's direction. "Brother Xian, let us do it!" Murong Qingqing shouted. Behind him, 32 phoenix powerhouses rose into the air, led by 2 quasi-emperors. These were all ice-type phoenixes, and they sent out icy winds that filled the sky. The terrifying icy winds swept through heaven and earth, bringing with it a monstrous chill that froze all the lightning. On the other side, Yenryu's side, hundreds of great demons were constantly moving. Their powerful physiques smashed onto the frozen statues, shattering the 3,000 puppets. Lin Xian's side quickly cooperated and moved very quickly. The Yi and Gu families also roared crazily. On the Yi family's side, countless powerhouses formed immortal king phantoms, standing between heaven and earth like gods of war. The Gu family's people appeared and disappeared like ghosts, their figures flickering and large cracks everywhere. Not only did they dodge the attacks, but they also tore the enemy apart. Finally, Lin Xian's side came to the edge of the formation. Looking at the terrifying soul formation in front of him, Lin Xian took a deep breath. "Give me power, I'm going to use an extreme weapon." Hearing this, the surrounding people took a deep breath and sent power into the heaven-devouring jar. The heaven-devouring jar shot out a terrifying light. Boom boom! The extreme power exploded, and the entire world shattered. The surrounding people were also shocked. Were they going to take out extreme weapons just like that? Even those people from the Emperor clans were similarly shocked. Yuido said, "Quickly get close to the formation. We'll use the Celestial Emperor Cauldron too." The other Emperor family members, the fire Qilin, and the others did the same. They had entered the tomb of a great emperor once, and knew that extreme weapons couldn't be used easily in the tomb of a great emperor. This was because it would attract the attention of a great emperor. It was very likely that they would be killed by a great emperor's power. Therefore, under normal circumstances, extreme weapons were only used for self-protection in the tomb of a great emperor. They would only use extreme weapons when their lives were threatened as a last resort. Since that was the case, they would use the power of extreme Tao to bombard the formation in advance so that they could gain the upper hand. These monarch clans all took out extreme weapons, preparing to attack. Great, let's follow them in. When the other chosen immortal clans saw this, they were overjoyed. They wanted to take advantage of the east wind and go in, but they were too naive. On Lin Xian's side, the heaven-devouring jar exploded with power, sending all the people near him flying. Only the allies of the Divine Union could enter. In addition to them, the other martial monarch clans had the same reaction too. Only those from the monarch race could do it. Of course, there were also some from the chosen immortal race who instantly stood up. Fellow Taoists, how about we join forces? That's right, let's form an alliance and work together. Okay. The Gu clan, the Qilin clan, and the other great emperor clans all nodded in agreement. There was nothing they could do about it. Although they possessed extreme weapons, their own strength was definitely not the strongest. Moreover, when they saw that there were 6 people from the chosen immortal clan, the Black Demon clan, and the sole ancestor beside Lin Xian, their eyes turned red. Now was the best time to join forces with the other chosen immortal clans. In no time, many chosen immortal clans gathered around these martial monarch clans. Naturally, many people on Lin Xian's side also wanted to join forces. However, they were all rejected by Lin Xian. This was because he didn't need them. Although the current alliance was a powerful force, the two sides weren't familiar with each other. Who knew when the other side would betray them? Therefore, he rejected all of them. Damn it, what's there to be proud of? Even if you don't want it, someone else does. Do you think you're the only one with an extreme weapon? Don't fall into my hands, or I'll teach you a lesson. The chosen immortal clans that were rejected had ugly looks on their faces. All of them were gnashing their teeth with hatred. However, Lin Xian didn't care about it at all. The power of the extreme Tao struck the barrier and tore open a crack. Let's go. Lin Xian led the people of the Divine Union and rushed in. Next, the Yi family, the Gu family, the Kunping race, and the others also entered one after another. At the same time, the allied chosen immortal clans also entered. In no time, more than half of the people were gone. The others were in despair. Let's go. Damn it, why did it heal? Why did the array formation disappear? I can't enter. These people roared crazily. There was still hope for them to join the Purple Mansion. These people all came to the Purple Mansion, wanting to form an alliance. The Purple Mansion master sneered. Alliance? You're not worthy. However, if you're willing to submit to us, we can bring you in. When they heard this, the faces of the chosen immortal clans changed. Submit? Damn it, this made him inferior to others. However, there were also people who said, no problem. After all, we'll just submit on the surface. Once we enter, we'll immediately go our separate ways. Words are no guarantee. Eat these elixirs and I'll bring you in. The Purple Mansion master waved his hand, and countless black elixirs appeared in the sky. They emitted a dark glow and were obviously not ordinary. The faces of the surrounding chosen immortal clans changed when they saw these elixirs. Who knew if these things were poisonous? Could they be controlled? Therefore, a portion of the chosen immortal clans immediately turned and left. However, there were still some who gritted their teeth and prepared to fight. Wealth came from danger. Without the help of the Purple Mansion, they probably wouldn't even be able to enter the tomb, let alone search for treasures. Therefore, it was worth it for them to fight. These people all swallowed the elixirs. Very good. The Purple Palace Lord smiled. These people from the chosen immortal clan would become their most loyal battle servants. Then, he said to the people around him, "Let's do it." The Purple Mansion Master also had an extreme Dao weapon, but he didn't use it. It seemed like they were preparing something. The 36 array breaking flags rotated in the sky and began to break the array. Although the speed was a bit slow, it was progressing steadily. The Purple Mansion Master sneered. "Idiots. The tomb of the great emperor is extremely dangerous. If they use extreme Dao weapons now, it will consume too much energy. In the end, it will be difficult to move forward. Just wait and see. The person who has the last laugh will be the winner." Finally, after a series of attempts, a crack appeared in the formation before them. The Purple Mansion Master's lips curled up. "Let's go." He led the people around him and the chosen immortal clans in quickly. Damn it, they couldn't go in. There were still many chosen immortal clans outside. Their expressions were ugly. They could only pace back and forth. After entering, the soul suppression inside became even stronger. Everyone's faces were pale. In here, they could only use 60% of their soul power. And this was just entering the tomb. They wondered how much soul power they could use in the innermost part of the tomb. Lin Xian and the others were the first to enter. At this moment, their expressions were grave. This was because a second batch of puppets had appeared in the tomb. These puppets were wearing different types of armor. There were red, blue, green, and all kinds of colors. Lin Xian looked at them. They should be divided according to the 5 elements. This was an army of the 5 elements. The laws of the 5 elements on them were terrifying. These puppets also had runes flickering on their foreheads. Lin Xian frowned. They had rushed in too quickly before and didn't notice the puppets outside. This time, after killing these puppets, they had to take away the runes on their foreheads. Chapter 5699. Qingqing attacked the water-type puppet. Ryu attacked the earth-type puppet. Diabolical Dragon attacked the metal-type puppet. Kill the Soul Ancestor attacked the wood-type puppet. Divine Union, follow me and attack the fire-type puppet. Lin Xian ordered. Everyone nodded and attacked quickly. A huge battle broke out in an instant. Behind them, more and more people entered. However, Lin Xian and the others weren't worried. This was because the second group to enter, the Great Emperor clan, was instantly enveloped by the new 5 elements puppet. It seemed like anyone who entered would be enveloped by the 5 elements puppet, and could only fight for themselves. Whoever could break through the 5 elements array would be able to continue. After entering, the Yi family, Gu family, and the other Great Emperor clans were shocked. They could feel an extremely strong spiritual suppression and the might of the Great Emperor coming from the depths of the ancient tomb. They knew that if they used it here, they would be targeted by the Great Emperor. They didn't want to provoke such an attack. Alright, since we're in an alliance, let's attack together. Those from the chosen immortal clan had entered with extreme weapons. Now that they saw the terrifying 5 elements puppet, they naturally wouldn't leave alone. In an instant, everyone started fighting again. Outside, countless people were pacing back and forth, waiting. They were all in despair. After waiting for a while, if there were no other opportunities, these people would leave. However, at this moment, the sky and earth trembled. Countless large cracks spread out, and the surrounding mountains collapsed in large swaths. Countless large cracks appeared in the void. Apart from the entrance of the ancient tomb, there wasn't a single place that was intact. The others were either crushed by this force and turned into a bloody mist, or were sent flying while vomiting blood. There were also some who were forced to kneel on the ground. They were trembling in fear. What force was this? Could it be that a shocking change had occurred in the Great Emperor's ancient tomb? No, they soon realized that it wasn't the Great Emperor's ancient tomb. It was a force that came from afar. In the distance, there was a terrifying aura that could topple mountains and overturn seas. Soon, they arrived above the ancient tomb. Those who had escaped looked up at the sky with difficulty. They were all stunned. What was that? What they saw was a shocking scene. In the sky, there was a huge figure. It was a frog squatting there. However, Only half of its body was left, as if it had been cleaved in half by a blade. What was even more shocking was that, although the appearance of this half-frog was strange, it was actually quite strange. However, his aura was too terrifying. It completely surpassed that of a quasi-emperor. Quick, look at the aura on his body. Is that complete immortal chi? Heavens, it's not a shard of immortal chi, it's immortal chi. He was a true great emperor. Everyone went crazy. Even in the deity ground, it was as difficult as ascending to the heavens for them to see a real great emperor. Because they were not qualified. But now, an actual emperor lord had appeared and descended right before their very eyes. Apart from the half-martial monarch, the experts following behind him were equally terrifying. The aura on his body was extremely powerful. Immortal chi fragments were incomparably mysterious. These should be extremely horrifying quasi-emperors. These people were none other than the half-frog from the other shore and the other quasi-emperors. After they arrived, a terrifying light burst out from the half-frog's eyes. With a cold humph, he slapped out with his palm. Mountains and rivers shattered, and heaven and earth split apart. The soul formation in front of him couldn't withstand it at all, and a vortex instantly appeared. Let's go. The figure of the green-robed great emperor swayed and walked forward. The quasi-emperors behind him followed. When their figures disappeared, the surrounding people dared to stand up. They heaved a sigh of relief. It was too terrifying. Although the great emperor didn't attack them, he didn't even look at them. The aura he emitted suppressed them so much that they couldn't resist at all. Was this the most terrifying existence in the myriad worlds? Was this the pinnacle of the great Tao? Everyone was incomparably envious. At this moment, someone exclaimed, "Quick, look, the formation in front hasn't healed yet." What? These people were shocked and looked forward. Great, we have a chance. Quick, these people rushed over one after another. Indeed, whether it was the formation breaking flag or the extreme Tao weapons, the formation soon healed. However, this great emperor's palm caused a vortex to exist in the formation. One could imagine how terrifying a true great emperor was. These people quickly rushed through the vortex and rushed in. Inside the great emperor's ancient tomb, everyone was still fighting with the five-element puppet. Lin Xian's side had taken the lead to suppress the fire-element puppet. They began to collect the runes between the eyebrows of the puppets. These runes contained mysterious soul power and the terrifying law of fire. If they could comprehend it, it would be of great help to their great Tao. Gradually, Qing Qing, Yan Ryu, and the others finished their battles and began to clean up the battlefield. Boom! All of a sudden, the entire space was filled with a tremendous force that swept over. Not good. Lin Xian's expression changed. He immediately took out the sky-devouring crown and enveloped everyone. Not only them, but the other great emperor clans also did the same. Sky Emperor Cauldron, Qilin Furnace. Even Zifu took out the dragon cauldron to block it. A loud explosion rang out, and the extreme Tao weapons began to shake violently. The people inside also had their blood boiling. Those who weren't enveloped had their bodies split open and instantly turned into a bloody mist. Blood rained down, making one's scalp tingle. What happened? Everyone was stunned. Lin Xian's expression changed. He said, "The aura of a great emperor. Did a great emperor come?" Yan Ryu exclaimed. "Could it be that the great emperor inside has revived?" Lin Xian shook his head. "No, this aura, damn it, why is it so familiar? Could it be that they came out?" Lin Xian was really shocked. He used his soul power to investigate. Although 60% of his soul power was suppressed in this place, Lin Xian's Rinnegan was still stronger than the others. Through the Rinnegan, he saw the scene outside. Every time a huge monster jumped, it would shatter heaven and earth. It was half a frog, surrounded by real immortal chi. Wherever it passed, gods and demons would retreat. Behind it, there were many figures like war gods. They were all powerful quasi-emperors. When the group moved, no one could stop them. It was indeed the green-robed great emperor. Damn it, Why did it turn out like this? Lin Xian's expression became serious. Didn't Higgin use the Book of Heavenly Tao to seal it? Why did it come out so soon? Once Higgin came out, he was really in danger. Because there was more than one great emperor in Higgin. He waited for a while and found that when the great emperor's aura slowly disappeared, there was no second aura. Could it be that only the green-robed great emperor appeared? It seemed that the Book of Heavenly Tao was not completely broken. How in the world did he get out of here? He didn't know. However, Higgin must have used some mysterious means to do so. The other martial monarch clans were investigating too. They exclaimed, "God, is that a real great emperor?" The appearance of a living great emperor was simply too shocking. Although there had been great emperors in their families, no one had seen them before. Now that they saw it, it was really terrifying. Even the martial monarch's sons were trembling. That was a real great emperor, a supreme existence as terrifying as their father. What surrounded him was real immortal qi, which was far from what their immortal qi seeds could compare to. Chapter 5700. It was the green-robed great emperor. When the head of the Z mansion, Ziruo, saw this, she immediately started laughing. A great emperor was enough to sweep everything away. He looked at Lin Xian with killing intent in his eyes. Lin Xian was dead for sure. He wanted to shout, but the green-robed great emperor had already disappeared. He didn't care about anyone at all. As a great emperor, he was high and mighty. Everyone else was like an ant. His goal this time was to enter the depths of the Soul Emperor's tomb. It would be best if he could find the Soul Emperor's body. Don't worry, the great emperor had already come out. Lin Woody couldn't run away. Zira nodded. Then let him live a little longer. Let's go, let's hurry up. Feeling Zira's killing intent, Lin Xian and the others frowned. Brother Xian was in danger. Murong Qingqing was worried. Yan Ryu also said, "Why don't we retreat this time? The great emperor won't leave in a short time. Let's leave here and find a place to hide." Anyway, the deity ground was so big. There were still opportunities in other places. Crimson Dragon and the others also said, "Even if you have an extreme weapon, you can't fight against the great emperor." A living great emperor was too terrifying. Lin Xian said, "No, my Tao is to go forward. My Tao heart is incomparably firm. I won't retreat. Even if the great emperor is here, so what?" Lin Xian's eyes were filled with determination. If he retreated, his Tao heart would be broken. The great emperor was powerful, but so what? There was always a way. The toad said, "No, I have to go." "Damn, you're too unloyal." Crimson Dragon and the others also looked at it with disdain. The toad said, "Who said that? I'm not running away. I'm going to get reinforcements." After that, the toad looked at Lin Xian and said, "Boy, do you remember that you were in the golden palace of the heavenly court? You saw a Jyotian goddess sleeping in a golden coffin. She had a human body and a snake tail." Lin Xian thought for a moment and said, "I remember." "What's wrong?" The toad said, "That is my empress. I am going to wake her up now." Now that the frog had come out, the empress would definitely suppress it. Lin Xian was surprised. "Are you saying that the sleeping powerhouse once fought with the green-robed great emperor?" Of course, the empress still won. Now, that frog only had half of its body left. Let's see how the empress will beat it up. However, whether or not I can awaken Her Majesty, I only have a 50% chance. Brat, hang in there. All right, go ahead then. Lin Xian's eyes lit up. Didn't that mean there was hope? Rosalong set up a teleportation array. Send a toad. After leaving the Crimson Dragon, he hurriedly constructed a large-scale teleportation array. He was directly teleported out of the deity ground. The toad's figure disappeared into the array. He said, "You must wait for me to come back. Let's go too. Be careful. Maybe there's a way to deal with the great emperor in this tomb." The group continued on their journey. The appearance of the green-robed great emperor swept out in all directions. Many places in the deity ground sensed it. Countless people knelt down. It seemed that a supreme existence had really appeared in the depths of the deity ground. The Moon Palace also felt it. In the mysterious sea, Guanghun Immortal frowned tightly. Did the green-robed Great Emperor appear? He even went to the tomb of the Soul Emperor. She was also surrounded by immortal energy, and her gaze pierced through heaven and earth. In the next moment, she waved her hand, and the Seven Wonders treasure tree beside her danced, shooting out an immortal light that swept out. Not long after, she returned with a figure. It was the daughter of the Soul Emperor. The daughter of the Soul Emperor was surprised when she saw the Guanghun Immortal. She bowed deeply. "Greetings, Senior." She felt an unfathomable power from the other party. "Han Qianqian, your father's tomb has been opened. There is something left for you inside. It's time for you to go." Then, she said to Jade Rabbit next to her, "Little Jade, take her to the tomb of the Soul Emperor." Jade Rabbit next to her walked out and looked at Han Qianqian. Han Qianqian was also excited. "Thank you, Senior." Then, she left with Jade Rabbit. Jade Rabbit also jumped and jumped. With a jump, she jumped through space and directly disappeared. The tomb of the Soul Emperor attracted more and more people. Some came to observe, and some directly entered. There were also people who were worried. They didn't know how many people would come back alive. At this time, the void broke open again, and a huge monster appeared. Everyone was startled, thinking that another great Emperor-level character had come. But they found that it wasn't. It was a quasi-emperor, and it was a rabbit. A beautiful woman walked down from the rabbit's back. Jade Rabbit said, "Go in by yourself. Be careful. By the way, this is a gift from Master." Jade Rabbit handed her a bracelet. The bracelet had a 7-colored radiance, and the aura of the Guanghun Immortal. There is a trace of Master's power on it. Even if you face it, the Great Emperor inside should be able to protect you. "Thank you, Senior Guanghun." The daughter of the Soul Emperor thanked her. Then, her figure flickered and she entered the tomb. As for Jade Rabbit, it returned to report. After Han Qianqian entered, she didn't encounter any puppets. In fact, she was directly teleported away by a transmission array. Clearly, this ancient tomb felt Han Qianqian's bloodline. She was the daughter of the Soul Emperor. There should be something left here specially for her. On the other side, Lin Xian and the others continued on their way. The tomb of the Soul Emperor was extremely terrifying. It was even more terrifying than the tomb of the Dragon Emperor. Although the tomb of the Dragon Emperor had a terrifying aura, it didn't have so many puppets. Moreover, Lin Xian had opened the coffin of the Dragon Emperor. There was only a set of clothes inside, and there was no Dragon Emperor. This showed that the tomb of the Dragon Emperor was just an illusion. But the tomb of the Soul Emperor was different. There were countless array formations around, soul suppression, and billions of puppets that blotted out the sky and earth. It was horrifying. Every time they passed through a passage, a large number of puppets would rush over. They carried terrifying laws as they fought with Lin Xian and the others. Along the way, Lin Xian and the others had consumed a lot of energy. Many of them were injured, which made them despair. They had only just entered, and even Lin Xian had to consume a couple of pills to recover from it. The passage ahead suddenly became cold. There were many flames on both sides. It was like the fire of hell. It was deep and terrifying, making people afraid to move forward. The Hellfire Dragon Fist laughed. Good stuff. This was simply a heavenly treasure for him. He grabbed at the fire of hell with his big hand. This guy was crazy. Countless people were horrified when they saw this scene. These flames were extremely terrifying. He wasn't afraid of being turned into ashes. However, what was surprising was that nothing happened to the Hellfire Dragon. Instead, the aura on its body became stronger. Boom, boom, boom. Finally, he roared at the sky and collected all the fire of hell around him. The flames in the sky disappeared, leaving behind some black marks. Delightful, it was truly delightful. The Hellfire Dragon laughed. The Crimson Dragon, Yen Ryu, and the others were shocked. Chapter 5701. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. The Hellfire Dragon had become stronger. He wondered how many times it was at its peak. Lin Xian guessed that it shouldn't be as strong as Elder Xia, because the Hellfire Dragon had been beaten by Elder Xia. But it was definitely stronger than an ordinary quasi-emperor. Humph! Seeing the Hellfire Dragon's strength increase, the surrounding people were envious. However, someone snorted coldly, and at the same time, a cold killing intent appeared. The Crimson Dragon and the others turned their heads and gritted their teeth. Damn, it's like a ghost. It was the people from the Purple Mansion. Lin Xian frowned. The Purple Mansion Lord Zirua sneered. Brat, the great emperor is here. It won't be long before you die. If you kneel down now and hand over the inheritance and the great dragon's sword, we might give you a quick death. Lin Xian smiled. You're just a quasi-emperor. Also, you dared to come in front of me when the great emperor isn't here. Do you think I don't dare to kill you? As he spoke, he punched out. The golden fist shone in all directions. The Purple Mansion Lord's expression changed. You dare? He formed purple clouds that filled the sky to block the punch. The people around him were also angry. Attack! The people from the Thousand Blades sect and the Immortal Swords sect were full of killing intent. They had long wanted to attack Lin Xian. The people on Lin Xian's side also pulled out their swords. The atmosphere was extremely tense. At this time, Whitey flew out and waved the treasure bowl, slapping it forward. At this time, many people on the opposite side exclaimed, Damn it, where are the treasures in my storage ring? Where's my lingua? Damn monkey, you dare to steal my things? Capture this monkey and make him suffer a fate worse than death. Those people were instantly angry. Whitey put away the treasure bowl and made faces in the air, spitting saliva. The people on the Divine Union's side laughed. Whitey used to only make faces. It probably learned the trick of spitting saliva from the toad. Damn, you dared to provoke us? The people from the Thousand Blades sect sent out a sky full of saber light. The void was torn apart and slashed towards the Divine Union's side. Do you think we don't exist? Bai Susu and the others from the Divine Union also shouted. Attack! They also made their moves. All kinds of laws covered the sky and covered the earth. As the two of them clashed, a terrifying aura swept across the area. Lin Xian waved his hand. Myriad swords returned to origin. Countless sword chi appeared on his body and slashed forward. The 10,000 Blade Sect's people's chi and blood surged. After being hit by the sword chi, their faces were filled with terror. This guy's sword technique was actually so terrifying. The people from the Immortal Sword sect sneered. So you are also a swordsman? However, how can your swordsmanship compare to ours? A row of experts walked out from the Immortal Sword. There were 24 top-notch swordsmen with long swords on their backs. Their sword auras were soaring to the sky. Sword chi slashed out one after another, bringing with it a sharp power, causing the surrounding people to retreat. Some clans said, Let's leave while they're fighting. These people soared into the air and flew forward. They wanted to seize the initiative. The hellfire in front of them had already disappeared, so they didn't have any fear. They charged forward in an instant. Attack! Lin Xian also snorted coldly. He rushed over and waved his sword chi. With a slash of his sword, a quasi-emperor was cut in half and let out a miserable cry. Lin Xian waved his sword chi again. The arms of 3 swordsmen disappeared. Miserable cries could be heard. The people from the Immortal Sword sect had also gone crazy. In terms of sword technique, they thought that no one was their match. However, the other party's sword technique was so terrifying. In the blink of an eye, they had lost many experts. Kill him. Let's do it together. The people from the Immortal Sword sect roared crazily. Murong Qingqing also rushed over. You want to hurt Brother Xian? The wings of the 7-colored phoenix appeared on his back. He waved his hands. The terrifying shadow of the phoenix shot out. Between heaven and earth, phoenixes danced in the sky. Yenryu led a group of great demons from the Demon Emperor Mountain and also moved out. Yenryu's feet bloomed like lotuses. When those lotuses bloomed, they could sweep everything away. The Crimson Dragon threw out one array after another. The Purple Mansion side suffered heavy losses. The Myriad Dao sect, the Immortal Sword sect, and the chosen Immortal clan were all terrified. The Purple Mansion Lord Zira said, "Attack with all your might. You chosen Immortal clan, take the lead." The chosen Immortal clan wanted to retreat, but Zirua waved her hand and an immortal technique was cast. The chosen Immortal clan had all eaten elixirs. At this moment, they felt like their souls were about to be torn apart. "No! Stop! Let's go." These people knew that they had been controlled, and could no longer escape. They could only charge over crazily. This was a huge battle. The Purple Mansion and the Divine Union were mortal enemies. The Purple Mansion Lord wanted to kill Lin Xian. Therefore, he wouldn't hold back at all. "Haha, I'm coming too." The Hellfire Dragon had just swallowed the Hellfire and was stronger than before. His 7-crowned king realm had completely stabilized. At this moment, he stretched out his dragon claws and Hellfire spread. Dozens of experts were instantly turned into ashes. The battle was very terrifying. The people on Lin Xian's side were very strong. The people of the 10,000 Blade sect and the Immortal Sword sect were frightened. In an instant, they were suppressed and many experts fell. They gritted their teeth and looked at the Purple Mansion Lord. The Purple Mansion Lord had never imagined that Lin Xian would be so terrifying now. He wasn't a match for Lin Xian. He was sent flying by Lin Xian's palm and vomited blood. Go! They could only lead their people and charge forward. Lin Xian sneered. "Where are you going?" He led the people of the Divine Union and charged forward. Lin Xian used the Shadowless Heavens net, and his speed was extremely fast. At the same time, he used the Azura sword technique. This was the god-slaying sword technique. Every sword move killed a Purple Mansion expert. In an instant, the people of the Purple Mansion were scared out of their wits. No, why was he so strong? The people of the 10,000 Blades sect and the Immortal Swords sect were also injured. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of experts had been killed by Lin Xian. They were terrified. Damn it! They had come from the depths of the deity land and were high and mighty. They didn't care about anything. However, they were really scared now. Purple Mansion Lord sent a message to the experts of the Nirvana realm and asked them to send 2 powerhouses over. Although the Great Emperor wouldn't pay attention to them, there were still many powerhouses following behind him. As long as 1 or 2 of them came over, they would be able to kill him. Alright, I'll send the message now. The Purple Mansion Lord started forming hand seals to send the message. Lin Xian's face sank. He had seen the group of experts back then. They were all stronger than 7-crowned king. None of them were weak. Even one of them would be a great threat to them. Therefore, his face darkened. Hurry up and get rid of them. As he spoke, Lin Xian used his soul power. The 6 paths of reincarnation appeared in the sky and the illusions of 6 worlds pressed down on them. Not good. It was a soul attack. The people of the Purple Mansion cried out in alarm. Even the Purple Mansion Lord turned pale and vomited blood. Their souls had been suppressed in this place. Now that they had suffered another soul attack, they were seriously injured. Linwoody, I won't let you off! The people on the other side roared crazily. Chapter 5702. Many people from the Purple Mansion were killed by the 6 paths suppression. They rushed forward crazily. Damn it, did I lose to him again this time? Lin Xian and the others chased them from behind. On their side, there were also people who had died. However, it was much better than the situation in the Purple Mansion. The people from the Black Demon race followed and attacked. At the same time, they were terrified. To be honest, they had never seen such a big battle. The Black Demon race was a demon, and they usually liked to crush ants. However, they would do their best to submit to the strong. Therefore, their battles were either instant kills or submission, not daring to make a move. How could there be such a big battle where both sides fought until blood filled the sky? Were these people from the outside universe? It was too crazy. They were all lunatics. Now they were stunned. Even if they did not submit to Lin Xian, it would not be long before they were defeated by some strong people from the outside universe. The deity land was rich in resources, had many powerful cultivation techniques, and had many strong people. However, they had never experienced such a cruel battle. The people from the outside universe were inferior to them in all aspects, but they fought all the way. They grew up in the cruelest way. Once such people got the chance, the people from the deity land would not be able to fight against them. Indeed, it was not just a black demon race. The people from the 10,000 Sabers sect and the Immortal Swords sect also had ugly expressions. Many people were scared out of their wits. They had never seen such a battle before. On the other hand, the people from the Divine Union had determined expressions. They had followed Lin Xian and fought all the way. They had offended many sects and experienced many battles, but they had survived all of them. Even when they clashed with the 10,000 Dragon Court's extreme Dao, they won. Therefore, they could adapt to such a battle. Another hall appeared in front of them. The people from the 10,000 Sabers sect and the Immortal Swords sect quickly rushed over. The people from the Purple Mansion also heaved a sigh of relief. The hall was very spacious and incomparably vast. There were countless pictures engraved on the ground, like totems. There seemed to be a pitch-black hall above. There was no roof, so no one cared. However, when they entered, they felt a suppression. Not good, their souls were suppressed again. Most likely, they would only be able to unleash half of their soul strength here. Not only that, but it was also sharp. After Lin Xian and the others entered, they also felt as heavy as a mountain. Lin Xian said vigilantly, "Everyone, be careful." As soon as he finished speaking, in that dark place in the sky, a voice rang out. Suddenly, a sonorous sound rang out. It was as if a long knife had been unsheathed. Then, the saber light flashed and slashed down. Inside the hall, countless people screamed. Some people clutched their heads and screamed miserably. Their bodies were fine, but their souls were destroyed. Under this move, thousands of experts fell. The remaining people went crazy. They retreated in horror and activated their defensive armors and magical treasures to protect themselves. At the same time, they looked up at the sky in horror. What was that? It was saber light. The people of the 10,000 Blades sect roared crazily. As peerless swordsmen, they naturally recognized him at a glance. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was frowning. Not only was it a saber light, but it also contained extremely strong soul energy. That saber light had destroyed the souls of countless experts. The mansion master of the Purple Mansion looked pale and said with difficulty, "Is this the soul cutter?" "What?" "The soul cutter. It specialized in cutting souls. It was said to have a very terrifying evil aura. Could it be refined by the great emperor? Hurry up and defend." On the side of the Kirin clan, the Kirin's son shouted angrily and prepared to use his supreme weapon. However, at this moment, a quasi-emperor of the Kirin clan exclaimed, "Damn it, why is my connection with the Kirin cauldron so weak?" The Kirin's son's expression changed. In the next moment, his face also turned pale. That was indeed the case. Their connection with the extreme weapons had weakened. Not good, because their souls were suppressed. Damn it, this was indeed the tomb of the great emperor. It was terrifying. They knew that it would be more difficult for them to use their supreme weapon here. However, they didn't expect it to be so difficult. The Yi family, the Gu family, and the others were also facing a great enemy. They tried their best to mobilize the power of their supreme weapon. They put up defenses around them. On the other side, the mansion master of the Purple Mansion also looked pale. On his side, the situation was even worse. Originally, his soul was suppressed. Moreover, he had been hit by the 6 paths of reincarnation. His situation was even worse. "Damn Linwoody, don't let me get the chance. Otherwise, I'll teach you a lesson." Lin Xian snorted coldly. His soul suppression was considered the lightest. Therefore, he used a trace of the power of the sky-devouring jar to surround him. At the same time, he looked at the Killer Soul Sect Master and said, "It's time for you to make a move." Although the Killer Soul Sect had also submitted to them, the Killer Soul Sect Master was a puppet. He was different from those who had joined Lin Xian and the Divine Union. Therefore, Lin Xian gave them the most difficult task at this moment, which was to assassinate. The Killer Soul Sect Master stepped forward and knelt on one knee. "Young Master, we dare not disobey your orders." "Very good." Lin Xian's lips curled up. "Then let's make a move." He gave the order to the Killer Soul Sect Master. The Killer Soul Sect Master stood up. Behind him were countless powerhouses from the Killer Soul Sect. These people had sharp blades and daggers in their hands, ready to attack. At the same time, Lin Xian looked at the Hellfire Dragon and said, "Release the demonic aura." A terrifying demonic aura appeared on Lin Xian's body. The Hellfire Dragon also released demonic clouds. At the order, the people of the Black Demon race all moved. Boundless demonic aura began to spread and covered the entire hall. Although the hall was vast, at this moment, it was covered by dark clouds and the light dimmed instantly. Everyone went crazy. "Damn it, what happened?" the Qilin's son roared. "Lin Wudy, are you crazy? Why are you releasing the demonic aura? Do you want to attack all of us?" As soon as these words came out, the other emperor races also acted as if they were facing a great enemy. The surrounding people also turned their heads to look. However, at this moment, the figures of Lin Xian and the others had already been covered by the demonic aura and disappeared. At the same time, a cold voice came from the sky. "Purple Mansion, accept my anger. Do you think I'm afraid of you?" The experts of the Purple Mansion side shouted coldly. The quasi-emperors were also full of killing intent. The people of the 10,000 Knives sect were still surrounded by saber light and sword chi, ready to fight. However, at this moment, in the darkness, a team moved, led by the Killer Soul sect. At this moment, these people finally made their move. Buzz! In the darkness, a cold light flashed, and a figure was cut in half. Blood flew, and the pungent smell of blood filled the air. Not good, someone was injured. Everyone was terrified. Above their heads was the soul cutter, and they didn't know when it would fall. Now there were people who attacked again. Then countless cold light flashed. The people of the Purple Mansion side screamed, "Damn it, it's the assassin, fight back, there's a terrifying assassin. Lin Wudy, how dare you sneak attack us?" The Purple Mansion master roared crazily. The people of the Immortal Sword sect also shouted, "Come out and fight if you have the guts." However, no one answered. What answered them was only cold saber light and terrifying assassination techniques. Countless sword chi danced in the air, turning into a storm that swept out in all directions. A leaf and a flower as a sword, a mountain and a river as a sword. The terrifying sword chi pierced through from every direction, hitting the experts of the 10,000 Blades sect and the Immortal Sword sect, tearing their bodies apart. In the blink of an eye, dozens of experts died. The surrounding people were also terrified when they felt the sword light. What was this? Even Murong Qingqing and the others were surprised. It wasn't the unique skill that Brother Xian used before. Could it be that he had just cultivated it? The mansion master of the Purple Mansion also dodged the attack with difficulty, his face pale. However, he slapped down with his jade-like hand. "Seal me! The dragon trapping pillar can even trap a divine dragon. I don't believe that it can't trap you," he roared crazily. A mysterious power appeared on the dragon trapping pillar and swept towards Lin Xian. Gradually, the sword chi around Lin Xian dimmed and then disappeared. Lin Xian frowned. This dragon trapping pillar was indeed terrifying. It seemed that it was a terrifying array. Damn it! The Crimson Dragon rushed over with his men. "Boy, don't worry. I'll help you break it." "Stop him!" Zero roared. The chosen immortal race she was sitting on rushed over and stopped the dark red dragon. Linwoody, let's see how you escape this time, she sneered. The dragon trapping pillar couldn't kill the other party, but it could trap the other party. As long as she waited for the soul-severing blade to fall and cut the other party would definitely die. She wanted to kill the other party with a borrowed knife. The soul-severing blade in the sky appeared again and was about to fall. This time, it also enveloped the area where Lin Xian was. Not good. Yen Ryu and the others exclaimed. Zira sneered. She had already retreated far away. Let's see how the other party will die this time. At the critical moment, demonic chi appeared on Lin Xian's body and the phantom of a demon god appeared. He threw a punch at the dragon trapping pillar and sent one of them flying. The remaining 3 pillars also started to shake. Lin Xian escaped. As soon as he left, the soul-severing blade slashed down and tore the area below into pieces. Shinjinchio had warned him not to use the illusion fiend scripture so easily. However, at this critical moment, Lin Xian had no other choice. He had just comprehended the Qianquan sword technique. Although it was powerful, it was still inferior to the real emperor's ancient scripture. Therefore, Lin Xian probably had to use the illusion fiend scripture for now. Without the dragon trapping pillar holding him back, Lin Xian charged straight at the Purple Mansion Lord. He slashed out with his sword and cut off a strand of the other party's hair. The Purple Mansion Lord retreated in fear. The people around him last night came forward. However, Lin Xian appeared and disappeared like a ghost. The second slash. The sword of slaughter had split open the space between Headmaster Z's eyebrows, injuring his soul. The third slash cut off one of his arms. The Purple Mansion Lord was injured and retreated. He gritted his teeth and said, "Retreat quickly." It seemed that now was not the time to kill the other party. It was better to wait for the powerhouses of the Nirvana realm to arrive. The Myriad Dao sect, the Immortal Sword sect, and a dozen other chosen immortal clans hurried back. They protected Ziruo and retreated into the distance. Lin Xian snorted coldly. Although the Purple Mansion Lord had recruited a large number of experts, they were still no match for him. That's great. When Qingqing and the others saw this, they all laughed. As for the others, they were all shocked. The current Lin Woody was already so terrifying? It seemed that they really couldn't provoke him easily. The people in the Killing Soul also retreated quickly. However, at this moment, the hundreds of assassins suddenly split open. A terrifying force tore their bodies apart. Moreover, this force was still spreading and its target was Lin Xian. It was too fast. It was unbelievably fast. This was the speed of lightning. In an instant, it hit Lin Xian's body. Lin Xian was sent flying. With a loud bang, dust filled the air and the void shattered. Lin Xian's figure was shrouded in dust. "Brother Xian!" Murong Qingqing and the others exclaimed. The Crimson Dragon's face also changed. Who was it? Did the people of the Purple Mansion Lord have a death wish? The Hellfire Dragon said. No, it's not the Purple Mansion Lord. He saw an endless amount of lightning condensing in the void. Then, the figure of an old man appeared. This proved that the old man's aura was Seven-Crowned King. The terrifying power made everyone's scalp go numb. Lin Xian was killed by Seven-Crowned King in one move? The surrounding people were all stunned. Some of the chosen immortal clans were gloating. Those from the monarch clans also frowned. Lin Woody wouldn't die like this, right? In front, the storm gradually stopped and the cracks healed. A figure walked out. It was Lin Woody. He didn't die. Everyone looked up into the distance. They were all stunned. Chapter 5704. Lin Xian's body was engulfed in flames. There was a crack on his body that was slowly healing. The attack just now was indeed too terrifying. It was as if a sharp blade had split his body open. However, that was all he could do. It was impossible to kill him. He walked out and looked forward with a cold expression like a demon god. He wanted to see who dared to sneak up on him. In the void opposite him, endless thunderbolts revolved around an old man standing there. This old man was wearing blue battle armor, and his face was filled with age. At this moment, he was dumbfounded. In his hand was a three-edged lightning spike. On it, there were destructive electric arcs that kept jumping around. It was this weapon that had attacked Lin Xian just now. "You're not dead?" The old man was extremely surprised. "Brother Xian, are you okay?" Yan Ryu, Murong Qingqing, and the others also flew over, looking nervous. Lin Xian shook his head to calm them down. Then, he looked at the old man again. He said coldly, "You're from the Heavenly Thunder Tribe, aren't you? The Heavenly Thunder Tribe has been destroyed. How dare you sneak up on me?" He felt an aura similar to young Master Tianji on the old man. The old man was indeed from the Heavenly Thunder Tribe. The old man was sent by the Heavenly Thunder Tribe's leader to assassinate Lin Xian. However, as soon as the old man came out, the Heavenly Thunder Tribe was destroyed with a slap. The old man returned as if he had gone crazy. In the end, he decided to come and carry out the mission. He tracked down Lin Xian all the way and finally found him. Just now, he launched a sure-kill attack. He thought that he could kill him with one move, but he didn't expect him to still be alive. Damn it! He didn't know how the old man survived. However, the old man shouted angrily and attacked again. "Boy, where is our young Master Tianji?" he roared crazily. Lin Xian waved his hand and summoned young Master Tianji. Young Master Tianji knelt in front of him and kept kowtowing. "Greetings, Master." When he saw this scene, the old man went crazy. Their peerless genius, young Master Tianji, had been turned into a puppet? He couldn't stand it, then go to hell. Zhang Xian flicked his sleeves, and a small mountain of lightning appeared from within. Then, they turned into millions of mountains and swept in all directions. The lightning continued to crush, releasing a terrifying aura. Lin Xian and the people around him were all suppressed. The crowd only felt an invisible pressure surging down from the sky. This power caused their bodies to tremble, making it difficult for them to escape in a short period of time. Even their movements became slower. "This is a good opportunity. Go to hell." The old man sneered and rushed over again with the tri-edged lightning thorn in his hand. In an instant he arrived in front of Lin Xian. This time, his target was Lin Xian's head. "Humph!" Lin Xian coldly snorted. Then, he looked around and said coldly, "Who else wants to make an enemy out of me?" The surrounding people were so frightened that their scalps went numb. The monarch races also frowned. The faces of the people from the Purple Palace became incomparably ugly. That attack just now had truly frightened them. That was the Seven-Crowned King. If Lin Xian used him to deal with them, no one would be able to stop him. Boom! Boom! At that moment, the soul-severing blade appeared in the sky again. In the dark sky, the soul-severing blade mercilessly slashed at the void. Heaven and earth shattered. The surrounding people all frantically retreated. But those who were shrouded, no matter how many crowned kings they were all turned into ashes. Their souls were destroyed. Damn it! The people from the Gu family entered the void, but still, some of them died. The people from the Yi family also roared. They tried their best to resist, but they still couldn't stop it. The monarch races could only use the power of the extreme Tao to defend themselves. Not long after entering the ancient tomb, they had to use the power of the extreme Tao weapon. If this continued, with their current power, they wouldn't be able to reach the end at all. Break the barrier and leave this palace. The people from the Purple Mansion took out 36 array-breaking flags again. They were ready to break the array. The surrounding people all did the same. Lin Xian, on the other hand, looked up at the mysterious soul-severing blade. He squinted his eyes. "Kid, what are you thinking?" The Hellfire Dragon also said. "Not yet," Lin Xian said. "Although the soul-severing blade is terrifying and can destroy a person's soul. But I feel that if I can withstand the pressure here, my soul can be strengthened." Around. The blood race, Quasi-Emperor Mandela and the others all felt their scalps go numb after hearing this. Everyone wanted to escape. But Lin Xian wanted to use the soul-severing blade to increase his strength. This was too bold. Chapter 5705. Lin Xian decided not to leave. He was going to stay here to hone his soul and improve his Rinnegan. This was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but it was too dangerous. Lin Xian said to the people around him, "You can try to attack the array first." The Blood Clan and the 6 chosen immortal clans retreated. On the other side, the Soul Sect and the Black Demon Clan didn't dare to fight back. So, they were all ready to break out. As for the others, such as Murong Qingqing, Yan Ryu, the Crimson Dragon, and the Hellfire Dragon, they were ready. Like Lin Xian, they were also going to train their souls here. Boom! Lin Xian roared and pointed his sword to the sky. Terrifying sword energy rushed into the sky. The people around him attacked the array. When they saw this scene, they all went crazy. Did that kid want to die? He dared to challenge the Soul Cutter. He was really reckless. When the people of the Purple Mansion saw this, they sneered. Who did he think he was? The Kirin clan and the Kunping clan shook their heads. They knew that Lin Xian had an extreme weapon to defend himself. However, it would be difficult for him to reach the end with such a consumption of energy. Boom! The Soul Cutter seemed to be challenged and let out a rumbling sound. When it slashed down, the soul power swept over like a vast ocean. Lin Quan and the others dodged to avoid the most terrifying power. However, they didn't move too far away. Instead, they let the remaining power of the power envelop them. Their souls felt the impact, as if they would shatter at any time. However, they stubbornly held on. Lin Xian's right Rinnegan erupted with a terrifying light. He was resisting the heavenly path. In the terrifying phantom of the Rinnegan, a palm appeared in the eye. This was the hand of the heavenly path. It kept dancing and slapping in all directions. In the end, the hand of the heavenly path shattered. However, Lin Xian didn't give up. He continued to train his soul like this, again and again. Gradually, a few days later, the surrounding array seemed to be about to break. In the process, some people had died. There was nothing he could do about it. The soul-severing saber would appear in a different location every time. It appeared randomly, so it was very difficult for them to resist. Lin Xian, Murong Qingqing, and the others were also pale. In the past few days, their souls had been shaken. However, they had all recovered somewhat. They could feel that their souls were stronger than before. Previously, their souls had been suppressed by 60% here. Now, they felt that their souls were strong. The suppressive power was no longer that strong. It was only 50% or 40%. It was clear that their soul strength had increased. Lin Xian was even more delighted because the heavenly Tao of the 6 paths of reincarnation had also changed. Earlier, only a single palm had appeared in the eye. Yet now 2 palms had appeared. The people of the Yi family also frowned. Everyone be careful. These people had all entered large families before. They knew that they would definitely not be so kind as to let them get the treasures for free. Clang! Sure enough, just as the dozen or so people of the chosen immortal clan rushed over, the white ghost fire moved the flames. At the same time, a large number of cracks appeared on the ground. One by one, skeletons surrounded by bloody light crawled out. These skeletons roared at the sky and instantly charged towards the chosen immortal clan. Get lost! The people of the chosen immortal clan roared angrily and used immortal spells. They were incomparably vast as they charged forward. In the blink of an eye, 300 blood skeletons were sent flying. However, even more of them crawled out. In an instant, the entire space was filled with these blood skeletons. They blotted out the sky and covered the earth. They continuously appeared from the ground, the surrounding walls, and the roof. It was like a sea of blood that enveloped everyone. Damn it, hurry up and attack! Some people shouted angrily. Murong Qingqing and the others also shouted loudly. Attack! They headed towards a treasure chest. Since they were surrounded and had to fight, they might as well get a treasure chest. A great battle erupted in an instant. It was very tragic. Those blood skeletons were continuously killed. In the blink of an eye, 40,000 blood skeletons had fallen. However, even more blood skeletons ran out. This was the tomb of a great emperor. Who knew how many traps the Soul Emperor had set up here back then? Perhaps tens of millions, or even billions, no one knew. Everyone only knew that they were continuously killed. Next, people from the chosen immortal clan fell. Gradually, the quasi-emperors were also torn into pieces and dragged into the ground. Fear and despair. These people screamed crazily. In addition to them, more and more people entered from behind. This was because previously, the green-robed great emperor had punched through the array formation, allowing the people outside to enter. However, after these people came in, they could only despair. Because this place was really too terrifying. It was like a Jura hell. In the blink of an eye, 10 days had passed. The third hall was still surrounded by endless blood skeletons. Everyone's faces were pale. The people of the Emperor race seemed to have no choice but to use the power of the extreme Tao to defend. Damn it, could it be that they couldn't be killed? Yenryu said. Qingqing, I'm going to use the extreme Tao weapon, the Crimson Dragon said. It's so early, Yenryu said. Anyway, we have many extreme Tao weapons on our side. It's not a big deal to use them once. Let's see what's in the treasure chest first. Okay. Murong Qingqing nodded. Get ready. They all took a deep breath. Yenryu waved her hand. Behind her, a green lotus appeared and bloomed between heaven and earth. It swept forward, and the sky was filled with green lotuses. The surrounding skeletons continued to fall. In the blink of an eye, 10,000 blood skeletons fell. 100,000, 1 million, 10 million. Finally, a sea of blood was formed, causing the entire world to tremble. Countless people were shocked. This was the aura of an extreme Tao weapon. Someone was using an extreme Tao weapon. Chapter 5706. As soon as the power of the extreme-grade weapon was unleashed, the entire hall shook. At the same time, countless people knelt down. The people from the chosen immortal clan were shocked. Even the powerhouses from the depths of the deity ground were trembling. They couldn't help it. In front of the power of the extreme grade, they seemed to have become insignificant. The people from the Yi family were shocked. Is this Yenryu? Are the people from the Divine Union going to use the extreme-grade weapon? The people from the Gu family snorted. This is too fast. The people from the Qilin clan frowned. The blood skeletons in front of Yenryu kept shattering. No one was a match for the Green Lotus. The group of people quickly rushed forward and arrived in front of a ghost fire on the right. The treasure chest under the ghost fire was already defenseless. The extreme-grade weapon shrouded the treasure chest. Countless people turned their heads to look, their eyes red. At this moment, with a loud boom, a vast amount of energy was thrown out, pressing down on them. It seemed like the aura of the great emperor was descending towards Yenryu. Not good. Countless people were terrified and knelt on the ground. The people from the great emperor's family were also shocked. They knew that it was very unwise to use the extreme-grade weapon here. Previously, they had used the extreme-grade weapon to protect themselves. Now that Yenryu had used the extreme-grade weapon, she was finally facing the attack of the great emperor. Although it was just an aura, it was enough to shatter the 9 heavens and 10 lands. Countless people fainted under this aura. The people from the 10,000 Sabers sect sneered when they saw this scene. Stupid thing. She had used the extreme-grade weapon. There was no way she could defend herself. She would definitely die. The people from the Immortal Sword sect also sneered. Let's see if that brat still dares to be so arrogant. The other people from the chosen immortal clan also shook their heads and sneered. So what if you have the extreme grade weapon? This is the resting place of the great emperor. You can't kill him here. Yenryu's face was pale. Using the extreme grade weapon this time had a huge impact on her. She had several storage rings in her hands that had lost the power of their storage rings. However, at that moment Yenryu moved. The two pagodas stood between heaven and earth and blocked the attack. With a loud bang, heaven and earth collapsed. The surrounding blood skeletons were all shattered into pieces and scattered all over the ground. As for the others, they were also sent flying. Some of them were reduced to ashes, but most of them were coughing up blood. Was he dead? Everyone looked over, but they were soon stunned. This was impossible. The people of the 10,000 Blades sect were shocked. It was blocked. The person inside the immortal sword was also trembling. What was that pagoda? They hurriedly opened the scroll. There were words on it. Blood Soul Stone increases blood essence and soul. Firmament Bracer increases soul defense and has a 30% chance of ignoring other people's armor and striking. After everyone read it, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. Increasing soul defense was a common thing. However, ignoring other people's armor was too terrifying. One must know that these quasi-emperors could form armor of laws with a single glance. Not to mention, there were other armor made of precious metals that could be worn on their bodies. In addition, there were shields, pagodas, and other weapons that could be used for defense. If one ignored these defenses and struck, they could only use their physique to withstand it. Not everyone was like Lin Xian, who had a super strong physique and a strong physique. It was very likely that one would be pierced through by a punch and be seriously injured. It was even very likely that one would die. This bracer was really too terrifying. However, there were some additions at the back. That was, it could only be used once a day. At the end, it was signed, the Soul Emperor's Artificer. Shocking, incomparably shocking. Everyone's eyes turned red. Murong Qiqing said, "Rui, this is the treasure box you opened. It should be given to you." Yenryu shook her head. "I've already broken through. Qiqing, I'll give you the firmament bracer." "Alright, I won't be polite then." Murong Qiqing was also happy. She put on the firmament bracer. On her left hand, the dark gold bracer bloomed with light. Together with her phoenix seal, she could definitely make a shocking attack. The surrounding people's eyes turned red. The people from the great emperor clan shouted angrily, "Hurry up and seize the other treasure boxes." In an instant, they activated their extreme weapons. What a joke. If they obtained it, it would be a great fortune. The other chosen immortal clans also attacked with all their might. The people from the Purple Mansion shouted angrily. The Purple Mansion Lord's eyes also turned red. She also took out the Dragon Cauldron. If her cultivation could break through, she would be the Seven-Crowned King. At that time, she would definitely be able to defeat Lin Wudi. Chapter 5707. Get out of my way! A Qilin roared into the sky. It was a furnace that suppressed everything. No one could get close to it. The fire Qilin's eyes were red. He also wanted to break through and become the Six-Crowned King. On the other side, the ancient Void Scripture also unleashed its power and attacked a treasure chest. The Yi family's Celestial Emperor Scripture also appeared. The Kuan-Ping clan and the Phoenix clan also attacked. The Purple Mansion also used the Dragon Cauldron. There were only 3 treasure chests left. There weren't enough extreme-grade weapons to go around. Therefore, there was a clash of extreme-grade weapons. Boom! Ah! Some of the chosen immortal clan and the clan of the ancients screamed and turned into ashes. They couldn't fight against such power at all. The chosen immortal clan who had chosen sides heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, they had submitted to those monarch clans. Otherwise, they would have long been killed in both body and soul. However, the others who came in alone weren't so lucky. They were knocked down more than once. Then, the second clash of extreme-grade weapons occurred. Previously, it was the Qilin Cauldron and the Celestial Emperor Cauldron. Next was the clash between the Gu family and the Purple Mansion. Vast extreme-grade power filled the air. Everyone was shocked. The Crimson Dragon said, "Should we snatch another one?" They still had extreme-grade weapons that they could use. The Murong Qingqing said, "No. Such a terrifying extreme-grade aura will probably attract more monarch power." As expected, the monarch power appeared in the depths of the ancient tomb. Boom! It covered the sky and the earth and charged over. Several extreme Dao weapons in the sky were swaying from the impact. Those from the monarch clans felt their blood boil. A few of the old men let out cries of agony as their bodies cracked open. Even more of them coughed up mouthfuls of blood. Not good, the ancient tomb's suppression is coming. They quickly mobilized their extreme-grade weapons to defend themselves. Next, there was a destructive impact. The entire palace was enveloped by the monarch power. Rumbling sounds could be heard. The people who had just entered had yet to reach the third hall. They looked at this scene with incomparable horror. On the Soul Cutter's side, Lin Xian opened his eyes. Not good. He couldn't continue cultivating like this. With such a terrifying power, even Qing Qing and the others would be in danger. Lin Xian prepared to go. At the same time, in the depths of the ancient tomb, there were two other groups of people. One of them was the daughter of the Soul Emperor, Han Qianqian. She seemed to have entered a realm where no one could stop her. Her speed was extremely fast. She frowned when she felt the Emperor's power, but she ignored it. On the other side was the green-robed Emperor. The green-robed martial monarch and the others frowned. Behind him, 8-Crowned King said, "What are those people fighting for? Could it be that there was a heaven-defying treasure?" The green-robed Great Emperor snorted coldly. What treasures could he have? What a bunch of blind ants. The most important thing was to find the corpse of the soul ancestor. There was no light in his eyes as he stared ahead. There was a terrifying soul steel up ahead. Furthermore, the 4 soul steels were statues of the 4 great divine beasts. They formed the 4 divine beasts formation. The green-robed Great Emperor was about to break this terrifying formation. At this moment, 8-Crowned King frowned. She was a woman. She said, "The green-robed Great Emperor, the Purple Mansion Lord, sent a distress signal." The Great Emperor didn't turn around. Instead, he said, "In that case, go ahead." The Purple Mansion Lord was Ziji's daughter. Speaking of which, it was all thanks to Ziji that she was able to come out this time. Therefore, when it was time to help the Purple Mansion, he had to help. Yes. The woman, 8-Crowned King, received the order and turned around to fly back. She was going to help the people of the Purple Mansion. In the third palace, the Emperor's power slowly disappeared. Countless blood mists filled the air. Under this attack, who knew how many quasi-emperors were turned into ashes? The Great Emperor's family members were also pale with fear. Don't use any more extreme weapons. Previously, when Yenryu used an extreme weapon, it attracted the Emperor's power. However, at that time, it was only one extreme weapon. But now, they had so many extreme weapons. The Emperor's power that was attracted was several times more terrifying than when Yenryu used it. Right now, they were almost unable to hold on. They couldn't withstand a second attack. Qilin clenched his teeth. Damn it, if only I attacked first. However, the other experts shook their heads and sighed. They had been rejoicing in their misfortune. Who would have thought that such a scene would occur? Even if we don't use our extreme weapons, we still have a foundation. At the very least, our defense is unparalleled. Let's go, use our extreme defenses and kill our way out. We have to get a treasure box. That's right. The Great Emperor's family members charged out again. The people of the Purple Mansion also attacked. When the other chosen immortal clans saw that they had no more extreme weapons, they didn't want to be outdone and joined the battle. A great battle erupted in an instant. It was extremely terrifying. Some people even charged towards Murong Qingqing and the others. Although the treasure box had been opened, there were still several treasures inside. If they could get one, then this trip wouldn't have been in vain. 3 7-crowned kings charged over. The 3 of them sneered. Die. 1 7-crowned king was already the most terrifying force. 3 7-crowned kings working together was extremely terrifying. Yan Ryu and the others' expressions changed. They used extreme defenses. Extreme energy filled the air. With a clang, the 3 7-crowned kings were forced back. The 7-crowned kings' blood boiled. However, they sneered. It's just defense. Besides, how much power do you have to continuously use your extreme weapons? The 3 of them didn't give up and continued to attack. The Hellfire Dragon said, "You're courting death." He took the lead and charged out. He actually challenged 2 7-crowned kings on his own. The 2 7-crowned kings roared crazily. The last one sneered. "You ants, I'll give you a chance. Attack with all your strength. If you can force me back, I'll leave. Otherwise, I will always have the opportunity to find your weakness and eliminate you all." A middle-aged man stood in the air and sneered. "Damn it!" The Crimson Dragon roared. It really wanted to slap him to death. The kindred and the others felt their scalps go numb. 7-crowned king was even more terrifying than young Master Tianji. Back then, young Master Tianji had beaten them to a pulp, let alone 7-crowned king. They were no match for him. Yenryu said, "Ignore them. Just defend." The black-robed 7-crowned king sneered. "What, you don't dare? A bunch of ants. I have plenty of time to wait for you. When I catch you, I'll pull out your tendons and skin you alive. I'll make you wish you were dead." The more he spoke, the more agitated he became. All sorts of cold-killing intent and words appeared. The Crimson Dragon and the others' expressions were incomparably cold. Yan Ryu and Murong Qingqing couldn't hold back anymore. They were furious and wanted to attack. "Humph, I don't believe you won't come out." The black-robed 7-crowned king sneered. These were all top prodigies. They definitely couldn't take such provocation. Soon, these people would come out. Once they came out, they could instantly kill them. Chapter 5708. 7-crowned king sneered. Black river water surrounded him. It was the power of the river Styx. He was going to provoke him again. After a few words, the other party would come out. At this time, a cold snort came from the void. "Do you want to fight? Fight with me. Do you dare?" Hearing this, 7-crowned king suddenly turned his head. When he saw Lin Xian, his expression changed. He remembered that the other party had a treasure that could kill 7-crowned king in one move. So, he quickly defended. "Kid, don't use magic treasures." "Brother Xian." Murong Qingqing and the others also exclaimed. The Crimson Dragon roared. "Use your universe ring to kill him." Lin Xian snorted. "I don't need the universe ring to deal with him." He used the Rinnegan, the heavenly path of reincarnation. An eye appeared in the sky. It was like an eagle, looking down at the other party. Seeing that Lin Xian didn't use the universe ring, the black-robed 7-crowned king laughed heartily. "Stupid thing. Since you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish." 7-crowned king didn't care at all. He used the river Styx. Immortal spell, Sea of Death descends. The power of the Sea of Death swept out and attacked Lin Xian. However, at this time, a pair of hands appeared in the Rinnegan in the sky. Then, a human silhouette flew out from the eye and charged toward the other party. With a boom, it struck the top of 7-crowned king's head. 7-crowned king's body shook. His eyes rolled and he fell to the ground. He died. What's going on? The remaining 2 7-crowned kings who were fighting the Hellfire Dragon changed their expressions. How could the other party's power be so terrifying? The other party was already able to kill 7-crowned king with his own power? Yan Ryu and the others were also shocked. The Hellfire Dragon looked at the sky. He narrowed his eyes. The power of the heavenly path had become stronger. As expected of the Rinnegan. Lin Xian sneered. You really can't take a hit. How did you become so strong? The remaining 2 7-crowned kings didn't attack either, as if they were facing a great enemy. This was because they realized that they had been targeted by Lin Xian. One of them said, Why do I feel like his soul isn't being suppressed? Damn it, that's impossible, right? The 2 of them were really shocked. They were suppressed by 60% here. Everyone was the same. However, if Lin Xian didn't suppress him, the gap would be very small. Lin Xian sneered. His opponent's guess was right. Everyone here had a 60% suppression. Yan Ruyu and the others had 50%. Lin Xian had been resisting the soul-severing saber all this time. His soul was only suppressed by 30% here. In addition, Lin Xian has cultivated a new unique skill of Rinnegan. Thus, his soul power was extremely terrifying. Now that 7-crowned king was being suppressed, it wouldn't be a problem to kill him in one move. Even if they were in the outside world, this move would still be able to severely injure the other party. This kid is too strange. Let's go. The Hellfire Dragon from before had already shocked the 2 7-crowned kings. Now that Lin Xian and the others had appeared, they weren't confident anymore and quickly ran away. Lin Xian sneered. You still want to leave? He activated Reincarnation Heavenly Tao again, and that phantom appeared again, attacking another 7-crowned king. He slapped the top of his head, and that 7-crowned king's soul was destroyed. At the same time, Lin Xian's phantom also slowly disappeared. Lin Xian closed his Rinnegan, his face a bit pale. Currently, he could only use 2 moves. However, it was already very terrifying. In this situation, 2 moves could instantly kill 2 7-crowned kings. The last one was scared out of his wits. However, seeing Lin Xian close his eyes, he laughed. Haha, your power is limited. However, his laughter quickly stopped. Because the Hellfire Dragon attacked. Do you think I don't exist? The Hellfire Dragon sneered. He waved his hand, and the hellfire flew out, turning into a hell sword and piercing through the opponent. In the end, this 7-crowned king also died in his hands. Lin Xian took these people's storage rings as resources to provide extreme weapons. He turned around and asked, What's going on? Murong Qingqing briefly recounted the events that had happened before. After hearing this, Lin Xian was also shocked. He looked at Yan Ryu, who really broke through. Yan Ryu could instantly break through without receiving the heaven's punishment. It was really incredible. The Soul Emperor's methods were indeed strong. Kid, this Blood Soul Stone can increase Qi and Soul. The Crimson Dragon took out 2 stones. Lin Xian said, You guys can split it. My Rinnegan has increased, and it won't increase in a short period of time. Okay, then I won't be polite. The Crimson Dragon and the Hellfire Dragon each took one. Lin Xian studied Qingqing's firmament wristband. He was also surprised. This is really incredible. He then looked at the other 3 treasure chests. He wondered what was inside the other 3 treasure chests. The battle ahead was very terrifying. Lin Xian's body shook, and he also joined the battle. He directly rushed to the Z Mansion. After all, they were sworn enemies, so it was no big deal to steal their treasures again. The Z Mansion was very strong, and they even suppressed the Gu family. The Gu family was very mysterious and powerful in space. However, the Z Mansion had brought many strong people from the depths of the deity ground. The Gu family was gradually at a disadvantage. The treasure chests were about to be opened by the Z Mansion. Boom! Not long after, the Mansion Lord of the Z Mansion opened the treasure chests personally. She broke through and became the 6th-crowned king. She laughed. Great, Lin Woody, I'm not afraid of you anymore. Oh, really? Lin Xian smiled. He also rushed over. You're here, just in time. The Mansion Lord of the Z Mansion was very confident and wanted to attack. However, at this moment, A white light flashed, and a little monkey slapped her face with its paw. The 3 seconds of dizziness left her completely dumbfounded. Lin Xian waved his sleeve, and the sword she instantly pierced through the mansion lord of the Z mansion, nailing her to a stone pillar in the distance. At this moment, Whitey grabbed something and turned to run. The firmament wristband. On the right hand, there was a 30% chance that it could ignore the opponent's armor. Good stuff. Lin Xian laughed. Well done, Whitey. Whitey shook its head. There's nothing good to eat. Damn it, put it down. The people of the Z mansion roared crazily. The eyes of the people of the 10,000 Knives sect and the Legend of Sword and Fairy were also red. They cooperated with the Z mansion, and the mansion lord of the Z mansion became stronger, so the treasure would definitely be theirs. However, now it was taken by Lin Xian. How could they not be angry? Go to hell! On the Legend of Sword and Fairy's side, a sword-down master at the level of 7 Crown King rushed over. Sky-cutting sword! It slashed at Lin Xian with great momentum. Lin Xian punched out like a dragon. His golden fist cut through the void and instantly pierced through the opponent. The man's body was torn into pieces, and he screamed crazily. You ignored my armor? He was really crazy. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was overjoyed. His luck was really good. A 30% chance was triggered in an instant. Chapter 5709. The battle between Lin Xian and the people of the Purple Mansion was very terrifying. In the vast universe, a spatial teleportation array appeared. The toad jumped out. After coming out, he quickly flew towards the Heavenly Court. The Heavenly Court was still very mysterious. The southern Heavenly Gate stood there, guarded by the godly armored giant. After the toad came, he released his aura. The godly armored giant didn't attack him. The toad said, I want to go to the Golden Palace. You're here. Black Mountain flew out. He was still wearing a black robe. Why? Black Mountain didn't go to the path of immortality. The toad said to him. A great emperor appeared on the other side. I want to wake up the queen. Did a great emperor come out? Black Mountain also took a deep breath. The next moment, he nodded and said, Okay, come with me. The two came to the Golden Palace. The huge palace flashed with golden light. There was a terrifying existence sleeping inside. Black Mountain said, Go in yourself. Whether you can wake her up depends on your chances. The toad flew in. There was a golden coffin inside. In that place, a woman was sleeping. She had a human body and a snake tail. She was very mysterious. The toad crawled on the ground. Queen, please wake up and save us from the fire and water. He kept calling. 1 day passed, 2 days passed, and in the blink of an eye, 5 days passed. The toad crawled on the ground and called. On this day, the mysterious sleeping woman's eyelashes trembled slightly. The next moment, she opened her eyes. The sky and earth cracked. Outside the Heavenly Court, the wind and clouds changed. In the universe, the sky was broken. It seemed that it was all because of this pair of eyes. Who is calling me? A low voice sounded. The toad's soul trembled after hearing it. He shouted in surprise. Queen, are you awake? That's great. Greetings, Queen. Outside the Golden Palace, the people of the Heavenly Court felt this aura and were shocked. Black Mountain led a group of people from the Heavenly Court and rushed over. They didn't expect that she would really wake up. That was a martial monarch they were talking about. There was no way they would dare to be careless. They all prepared to come and greet her. Inside the Golden Palace, the woman with a human body and a snake tail sat up. She looked around and saw the toad first. The golden light in her eyes sprinkled. Are you his descendant? The toad fell to the ground and said, Yes, Your Majesty. My ancestor once followed Your Majesty. As the descendant of our ancestors, I pledge my life to follow you. The toad said again, Your Majesty, the green-robed emperor of the other side has awakened and is harming the human world. Empress, please take action to suppress them. The green-robed Great Emperor? The Empress thought for a moment, and then she remembered. Was he still alive? It was time to settle this grudge. Had the time of the present been reincarnated? She flew out of the golden coffin and flew forward. Soon, she arrived outside the Roland's golden palace. As soon as the doors of the golden palace were opened, the aura of the martial monarch realm swept toward them. Black Mountain and the rest of the people from the heavenly court all knelt down respectfully. Greetings, White Snake Empress. It was a spectacular sight. The White Snake Empress looked around. There were still some golden palaces whose doors were tightly shut. She whispered, "Am I the first one to wake up?" Then she looked at the toad and said, "You lead the way and follow me." "Yes." The toad jumped over. The white snake released an emperor's aura that enveloped him. In the next moment, the void shattered, and the two disappeared. They respectfully sent off the White Snake Empress. Black Mountain and the others hurriedly bowed again. In the next moment, he stood up and said, "From now on, everyone is on guard." This was to prevent others from attacking the Heavenly Court. After the powerhouses of the Heavenly Court received the order, they all activated their array formations. Even some ancient Great Emperor arrays were activated. Black Mountain looked into the distance. The reason he didn't go to the immortal path to search for opportunities and instead stayed here was because of the Heavenly Court. The Heavenly Court was very important. The Golden Palace here was where all the terrifying existences were sleeping. If the enemies of the Heavenly Court came to destroy it, someone would be responsible for guarding it. And he was the guardian. In the third hall of the Soul Emperor's tomb, the battle was still very terrifying. The third treasure chest was opened. It was obtained by someone from the Kunping clan. Kunping broke through and became sixth-crowned king. Moreover, there was another treasure inside. It was a war boot. After wearing it, it could increase one's defense and speed. The fourth treasure chest was opened by someone from the Yi clan. Yi Daodenir broke through and became sixth-crowned king. He also obtained a war boot. The others were gnashing their teeth. Even the powerhouses in the depths of the celestial land had ugly expressions. But there was nothing they could do. Although they looked down on the people of the outside universe, the ones who had attacked were all from Great Emperor clans. They had apex weapons in their hands. They couldn't beat them. Damn it! If you have the guts, don't use apex weapons. Let's fight one-on-one. Someone in the depths of the celestial land roared. Yi Daodenir shouted coldly. After putting on the war boot, his speed increased by 30%. He punched out with both fists, attacking the powerhouse. The powerhouse in the depths of the immortal path roared. He drew his bow, seemingly able to pierce the sky. His sword danced in the air. However, Yi Daodenir had an unparalleled saint body. His sword energy repelled the powerhouse. The powerhouse's body was torn to pieces. Yi Daodenir roared at the sky. The image of an immortal king swept across the 9 heavens, as if a god-king had come back to life. The Great Emperor clans all had fortuitous encounters. On the other hand, the Violet Mansion cultivators had ugly expressions. They hadn't been able to take down Lin Wudi yet. Lin Xian, on the other hand, was getting fiercer and fiercer as he fought. He had injured many of their people. Damn it! In their moment of despair, a terrifying aura flew over from the distance. As soon as he appeared, his power swept out. The people around him fell back, coughing up blood. Not good. It's an expert. He's stronger than Seven-Crowned King. Quick, defend! Someone in the crowd suddenly shouted. The others were so frightened that their scalps went numb. They all began to defend themselves. Come back, Daodenir! Your Highness, come here. The people from the Great Emperor clans roared madly. They used apex weapons to protect themselves. Whoosh! There was a flash of light, and a figure appeared. It was a woman. She came to the Violet Mansion Lord's side and said, "You're Lord Violet Mansion's daughter?" "Yes, I am." Zero hurriedly cupped her fists and said, "Greetings, senior." She was excited. She knew that an expert from the other world had come to help her. The Immortal Sword Sect, the 10,000 Blade Sect, and the other chosen immortal clans all bowed. "Greetings, senior." They were equally shocked. Was this an expert from the other world? They were indeed terrifying. Any one of them was an 8-crowned king. "Senior, it's him. It's this kid. He's gone against us time and time again. Just now, he even stole our treasures. Please kill him, Lord." The Violet Mansion Lord pointed at Lin Wudy and said quickly, "Oh, you're the enemy of the Violet Mansion?" Yulan looked at him, her eyes dark. She stretched out her slender hand and snapped her fingers in the air. Suddenly, a blue flower bloomed behind Lin Xian, enveloping Lin Xian. It restrained him. Chapter 57:10. A mere 5-crowned king was nothing to be afraid of. Yulan shook her head slightly. She thought he was a powerful person, but she didn't expect him to be so boring. "Get lost!" Sealed by the orchid that suddenly appeared. Lin Xian was also angry. He shouted angrily, and his sword was like a dragon. The biting cold sword energy pierced through the clouds and slashed forward. It cut the orchid into pieces. At the same time, he snorted coldly. "Someone from the Paramitha realm?" An extremely terrifying light appeared in his eyes. He can actually break my attack." Yulan was extremely surprised. Although it was just a casual attack, it wasn't something that 5-crowned king could break. Not to mention him, even 7-crowned king couldn't break it. This kid was a bit interesting. The mansion master of the Purple Mansion said quickly, "Senior, you must be careful. This kid is very strange. Is he the 9-Yan divine body, the successor of the Great Dragon, or the successor of the Demon Emperor? He has the Great Dragon's sword soul and half of the sky swallowing jar in his hand." In the blink of an eye, Zero revealed all of Lin Xian's trump cards. The surrounding people were shocked after hearing this. The people of the chosen immortal clan were also shocked. This young man was so extraordinary. No wonder he was so powerful. Some people's eyes instantly turned red. The treasures on this kid were all supreme treasures. If they could snatch one of them, they would be rich. Why would they want to snatch the great emperor's tomb? After hearing this, Yolan's eyes flashed with a trace of biting cold light. The successor of the great dragon, the successor of the demon emperor, and the 9-Yan divine body. These were all extremely terrifying existences. Even she was envious of them. It was a bit interesting. It seemed that this was a fat sheep. If she suppressed him, then she could hand these things over to the Paramitha realm. She could also cultivate. Then her strength would also improve by leaps and bounds. Thinking of this, she snapped her fingers again. This time, the void around Lin Xian suddenly turned black, and 4 orchids bloomed from it. The leaves were like the chains of hell, sweeping toward Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted coldly. His sword energy was large and had the power to sweep through the universe. The razor-sharp sword she contended against the leaf. Yulan was also surprised. For a 5-crowned king to be able to contend against her, this was truly too inconceivable. The people in the distance were even more shocked. Was this the power of the great dragon's sword? It was indestructible. Older brother Xian, Murong Qingqing and the others were nervous and ready to attack at any time. Although Lin Xian was strong, the gap between them was too big. An 8-crown champion was enough to sweep through everything. Lin Xian also felt immense pressure. If not for the fact that his strength had been advancing by leaps and bounds and that he had so many trump cards in his possession, he would not have been able to defeat Zhang Xian. Most likely, he wouldn't even be able to block a single attack. Even though he had managed to block his opponent's attack, he was still being suppressed. From the looks of it, he had to use some of his trump cards. Lin Xian's face was cold. The sword chi on Lin Xian's body became more and more terrifying. Then, A dragon-shaped sword appeared in his hand. He slashed out with his sword, which transformed into an azure dragon and flew forward. 4 orchids were split apart by the sword. This sword strike was aimed at Yulan. Boom! A deafening sound was heard. Yulan was hit by the sword and was sent flying. A sword mark appeared on her body. Half of her body was split apart. At this moment, blood was dripping non-stop. She had turned into an orchid, and many of its petals were broken. She screamed crazily. Her voice made the ears of the people around bleed. They were terrified and couldn't believe it. Lin Xian had injured the 8-crowned king with a single sword strike just like that? The people of the great emperor's family looked solemn. They knew that it was the great dragon sword's spirit. The people in the depths of the deity ground looked at the great dragon's sword with envy and fear. Some of the people who had been scheming against Yuan shook their heads frantically. Even the 8-crowned king couldn't block such an attack. Could they block it? So what if he was the 8-crowned king? Lin Xian snorted coldly. His arrogant words made everyone's scalp go numb. Yolan's broken body couldn't heal. This shocked her. However, she was also decisive. She gave up on the injured half and used the remaining half to transform back into her human form. Her face was a little pale. Good boy, you actually made me suffer a big loss. I've decided to let you taste the feeling of living a life worse than death. At the same time, her eyes bloomed with a biting cold light. The great dragon sword spirit was worthy of being a legendary offensive saint art. However, in your hands I can't use its true strength at all. You don't deserve to have it. She stretched out her hands, turned them into orchid leaves, and crazily attacked. The leaves were like scythes. Wherever they passed, the void shattered. She had experienced the power of the great dragon's sword. She didn't dare to be careless. Therefore, the leaves wanted to use softness to conquer strength and bind Lin Xian. The great dragon's sword was one of the 5 swords of the world. The Nirvana Shore had the complete heavenly punishment sword. It was controlled by the Nirvana Shore Lord. When heavenly punishment was used, all living things would submit. She knew how terrifying the heavenly punishment sword's power was. Although the great dragon sword's spirit was terrifying, it couldn't be compared to the heavenly punishment sword. Therefore, she had the idea of snatching it. Whether it was for her own use or to give it to the supreme beings of the Nirvana Shore, she would be able to achieve meteoric success. If she could get the favor of the Nirvana Shore Lord, it wouldn't be a problem for her to become a great emperor. Thinking of this, how could she not be excited? This time, in addition to her hands turning into leaves, a valley appeared behind her. In the valley, there was an orchid that kept blooming. 32 orchid leaves flew out. On them, there were mysterious runes of the law. Immortal art, descent of orchid. In an instant, the entire space seemed to be sealed. Everyone retreated into the distance. The corners of Yolan's mouth raised into a sneer. The leaves of these orchids were not ordinary. The immortal art on them had extremely strong power. As long as they could pierce the other party's body, then the other party would be poisoned and fall into a deep sleep. Once they fell into a deep sleep, their souls would also be lost. Next, the other party would definitely die. There was a mysterious power on the leaves. Lin Xian's Rinnegan bloomed with radiance. At a glance, he saw those leaves clearly. They were extremely strange. Therefore, sword chi surrounded his body and he activated 10,000 swords. Countless sword chi formed a storm. Then, Lin Xian used Qianquan's sword again. Each flower and each leaf was a sword. There were countless sword lights in the world, slashing towards the leaves of those orchids. Coupled with the power of the great dragon sword soul, it was really invincible. The leaves of those orchids were instantly cut open. However, the 8-crowned king was incomparably terrifying. His speed was very fast. In an instant he arrived in front of Lin Xian. It wrapped around Lin Xian, and even the storm of sword chi formed by 10,000 swords was enveloped. The sword chi and the leaves kept colliding, emitting endless flames. Sonorous sounds rang out one after another. Very good, I've got him under control. Next, I won't be polite. Orchids were a type of plant, but they were incomparably tough. Its leaves were as sharp as sickles, able to cut through everything. What was even more terrifying was its roots. Ordinary orchids could tear apart rocks to grow. With the bloodline power formed by Yulan, it was enough to tear apart all defenses. She wanted to suck Lin Xian's strength dry. The orchids in the valley behind him flew out and descended towards Lin Xian's head, as if they wanted to pierce through the top of Lin Xian's head. Sensing this danger, Lin Xian also roared angrily, waving his sword Qi non-stop. However, even if the leaves of those orchids were broken, they continued to coil around. This shocked Lin Xian. As expected of the Eight-Crowned King, he was indeed powerful. Chapter 57:11. When Lin Xian was in the Moon Palace, he had met the Eight-Crowned King and the Jade-Drop King. Back then, he had felt like he was facing a great enemy. Back then, he had only faced the Jade-Drop King and hadn't made a move. He didn't expect that he would be able to fight the Eight-Crowned King now. His great dragon sword soul had appeared, but it still couldn't kill the other party. This made him feel a sense of danger, because he had clearly seen the people from the other side. This woman was only one of them. She wasn't the strongest among the quasi-emperors. Other than her, there were other Eight-Crowned Kings. More importantly, there was a green-robed great emperor above them. Although it was only half a body, it was still a true great emperor. Lin Xian had sent the half-frog away with the demon emperor's demon palace. Now, the half-frog wasn't restrained. If it attacked him, the consequences would be unimaginable. He wondered how the toad was doing. Lin Xian thought of many things in an instant. At this moment, Yulan sneered. "You dare to be distracted while fighting me? You really don't know what's good for you." She snapped her fingers again, and a dense fog appeared above the leaves. Plop, plop. Some of the surrounding chosen immortal clan members smelled it, and immediately fell into a deep sleep. "Not good, retreat." "What is this?" They were all terrified. In the blink of an eye, a group of quasi-emperors had fallen. Was this the Eight-Crowned King's method? They were going crazy. The remaining quasi-emperors retreated, their faces full of despair. When the people of the Purple Mansion saw this scene, they became excited. "Great, Linwoody, let's see how you die this time." The people of the 10,000 Blades sect and the Immortal Swords sect also snorted. In their opinion, the other party would definitely not be able to resist. Lin Xian also felt his eyelids grow heavy. His soul felt like it was going to fall into a deep sleep. "Are they poisonous?" "Humph." With a snort, the great dragon sword she cut the poisonous creatures apart again. At the same time, Lin Xian attacked. He used the tornado to block the blue flower's absorption. The reincarnation in his eyes shone brightly as he summoned the reincarnation sword. Boom! Between the heavens and the earth, the phantom of a giant sword quickly condensed and slashed down mercilessly. At this moment, everyone felt as if their souls were about to be extinguished. "What is this?" Yolan's pupils shrank. She didn't expect her opponent to have such an attack. In the next moment, she was struck by the sword, and a crack appeared on her soul. She released a miserable cry, backing up in retreat, blood dyeing the 9 heavens. Boom! Lin Xian's face was also pale. With his current attack, he could only use the Samsara sword twice. However, he did not use it a second time. The surrounding experts were still eyeing them covetously. It was impossible for him to let himself become weak. However, he did not stop there. The firmament gauntlet on his left hand combined with the boundless demonic chi to form a powerful attack. Demonic shadows appeared behind him. This punch was aimed at Yulan, ignoring her armor. With a boom, Yulan was sent flying and a fist mark appeared on her body. His internal organs were all torn apart. He was seriously injured again. This made her go mad. Her soul split apart, and her body was injured. She had actually been defeated by a quintuple crown champion. This was impossible. Ziru and the others were also stunned. How could this be? To be honest, if Lin Xian had used the heaven-swallowing jar, they had the dragon-patterned cauldron on their side. However, Lin Xian had defeated 7 crown champion without using an extreme weapon. This made them feel fear. Boom! The great dragon sword spirit swept in all directions. The surrounding orchid leaves were torn to shreds after losing the power to sustain them. The orchid above their heads was also blasted away. Lin Xian sneered. 8 crown champion, you're just SOSO. Didn't you want to absorb my power? Let's see who swallows who? Suddenly, he took out the heaven-devouring jar and struck forward. A black vortex appeared and enveloped Yulan. No. Yulan was also shocked when she felt this strange aura. Yulan was the same. She roared crazily. Is he crazy? He dares to use an extreme weapon here? In the next moment, the power of the great emperor emerged from the depths of the tomb and attacked Lin Xian. It turned into a terrifying palm that covered the sky and slapped over. Lin Xian quickly retreated. Murong Qingqing flew over and blocked the attack with the desolate tower. Lin Xian's blood boiled, but he sneered. At this moment, the black light had already enveloped Yulan. Yulan was terrified. Cracks appeared on her body. This was the power of an extreme weapon. Even though she was 8 crown champion, she couldn't resist it. Why aren't you attacking? Yulan stared at the purple mansion lord. She also felt the power of an extreme weapon from him. Zirua had no choice but to use the dragon-patterned cauldron to attack the black vortex with 2 giant dragons. They saved Yulan. However, in the next moment, they were greeted by the power of the great emperor. A godlike palm fell mercilessly and sent all the people of the purple mansion flying. Although they were protected by the dragon-patterned cauldron, they still vomited blood. This was the punishment for using an extreme weapon. Go! Yulan shouted angrily. These people quickly retreated and left the third hall. Did they leave? The surrounding people were all stunned. That was the 8 crown king, and he was actually beaten back. This Lin Wuyi was too strong. As expected of a legendary person, he was terrifying. The great emperor clans were even more shocked. Whether it was in the outside universe or in the deity land, Lin Wuyi was as arrogant as ever. Protect me. Lin Xian said and sat down cross-legged. The image of the sword world appeared behind him. Previously, he had used an extreme weapon and the power of the great dragon sword spirit, which consumed a lot of energy. He quickly recovered. After this battle, he had a new understanding of the Qiankun sword technique. The next time he used it, it should be even more powerful. Moreover, Lin Xian felt that his sword qi was only one aspect. He should also create his own inheritance. Every martial monarch had a complete inheritance. It didn't only include attack, but also recovery, healing, speed, defense, and so on. Lin Xian decided to create an ancient scripture like this. The Qiankun sword technique was just an experiment. Next, he would continue to perfect it. When the people in the deity land saw Lin Xian sitting there cross-legged, their eyes flickered. Some experts in the deity land secretly discussed. Should we make a move? He had many supreme treasures, including the great dragon sword spirit and the great emperor's ancient scripture. Those were all things they were jealous of. Forget it, let's not make a move for now. Although he consumed a lot of energy, the 2 women next to him also had extreme weapons in their hands. It would be difficult for them to touch him with 3 extreme weapons. Humph, not necessarily. We still have a chance. He offended the Otherworld Immortal King. This time, the Otherworld Immortal King has a true great emperor. When the time comes, the kid will die. Maybe we can wait for the right time and benefit from it. These people discussed animatedly. They looked at Lin Xian with killing intent in their eyes, but they hid it well. However, at this moment, Lin Xian suddenly opened his eyes. He said, "Kill those people." Chapter 57:12. Lin Xian stared at the two people in front of him. These two were experts from the chosen immortal clan. They came from the depths of the deity ground. However, at this moment, under Lin Xian's gaze, they both trembled. Damn it! The two of them shouted angrily. At this moment, the Hellfire Dragon attacked, and so did Yen Ryu. The Hellfire Dragon was the seven-crowned king. He was extremely terrifying. Yen Ryu might be the six-crowned king, but he was the descendant of the great emperor. He also had the inheritance of the seven-crowned king. Not long after, the two of them were killed. The people around felt their scalps go numb. Someone shouted angrily, "What right do you have to be so arrogant? Do you really want to be enemies with the world?" Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. "Why would I kill them? Don't you know? Aren't all of you discussing when you're going to steal my treasures? Do you really think I don't know, or do you think I can't hear you? I have the power of reincarnation. If you're too close to me, I'll be able to hear your voice transmissions." What? Hearing this, the people around felt their scalps go numb. Was his soul already this strong? Damn it! They all retreated in fear. Lin Xian stood up and laughed. So what if I'm enemies with the world? When I was in the universe, it's not like I didn't make enemies with the world. However, what can they do to me? The people from the chosen immortal clan were shocked. The people from the emperor race were also silent. Lin Xian was too arrogant. He was extremely arrogant. However, no one could stop him. Even the eight-crowned king lost. The other party's aura was extremely strong. At this moment, the people from the Divine Union also looked around. They formed a force so strong that no one dared to get close. Everyone lowered their heads in the face of this power. Humph, Lin Xian snorted. So what if it's the deity ground? So what if it's the other side? No one could stop him. At this moment, Lin Xian had a new realization. He decided to open his own path. In the end, I will walk on a heaven-defying path. Let's call it the heaven-defying art. Lin Xian's eyes flickered with a cold light. This would be the name he would pass down after he became a great emperor. On the other side, in the passageway between the second and third halls, Zifu and the others were stunned. Every single one of them had wounds on their faces. Yulan gritted her teeth and took out a large number of pills from her storage ring and swallowed them. Abominable! This is too abominable! This time, he was actually defeated by a quintuple-crowned king. This was something he could not accept. Revenge, he had to get revenge. He had to make the other party suffer a fate worse than death. Later, when we kill our way back, use your extreme Dao weapon to defend and prevent him from using the heaven-swallowing jar to launch a sneak attack, Yulan said to Zero. Zero, however, frowned. She said, "If we compare extreme weapons, we can't beat him. His companions also have two extreme weapons." After Yulan heard this, she frowned. How could there be such a heaven-defying existence in the outside universe? "Senior, I have an idea." However, Zero spoke up. Yulan said, "What do you think?" Zero said, "In the second hall, there is a saber called the soul-severing saber. Senior, is there any way to borrow the power of an extreme Dao weapon to control this soul-severing saber? This soul-severing saber is very powerful and can sever a person's soul. Even if that kid has the Rinnegan and can summon the reincarnation sword, so what? I think it's not as powerful as the soul-severing saber. After all, he is only a quintuple-crowned king." "Good idea." Yolan's eyes lit up. Indeed, the other party was only a quintuple-crowned king. If he was an eight-crowned king, he might be able to use the reincarnation sword and instantly kill her. However, the other party was 3 realms lower than her. This gave her a chance. Although the reincarnation sword could injure her, it was not enough to completely kill her. If she had the soul-severing saber, she could definitely kill the other party. Alright, let's do it. Let's go to the second hall and seize the soul-severing saber. Yulan was confident. Although she did not have an extreme Dao weapon, she had many secret techniques. These were all immortal techniques from Paramitha. They were incomparably mysterious. With her immortal techniques and the power of the dragon-patterned cauldron in Ziruo's hands, it was not impossible. Many people were still entering the second hall. Their faces were filled with fear. The soul-severing saber was too powerful. Half of them had been killed by the soul-severing saber, and had arrived later than the rest of the group. However, there were also a few experts among them. One of them was a woman surrounded by great Tao. She was extremely terrifying. She was Zhong Lingxiu, with the born Taoism aptitude. Another person was so fast that no one could beat him. He was Chao Tianxing, a member of the Light Tribe. There was also a very strange person. He had the head of a dog and protruded fangs. It was as if he could swallow everything. He was the dog-headed Taoist. These three people knew Lin Xian and had fought with him before. The three of them were very powerful. He had not heard of them before. He did not expect them to enter the deity ground. They had even come to the tomb of the great emperor. Although the soul-severing saber was dangerous, the three of them could dodge it with their own methods. It seemed that hiding was not a solution. They had to think of a way to break the formation. Chao Tianxing's eyes shone with a sharp light. Zhong Lingxiu and the dog-headed Taoist's eyes were also shining. The three of them were ready to join forces. However, at this moment, the formation suddenly shattered. A team charged in from the outside. Who was it? So terrifying? The dog-headed Taoist was shocked. Even Lord Dog was not so arrogant. Did someone come back? Zhong Lingxiu frowned. The great Tao around her spread even more. She said, "The power of an extreme weapon. Is it the great emperor's family?" Chao Tianxing's speed was even faster. He rushed out in an instant. No matter who it was, an extreme weapon was enough to threaten him. Therefore, he dodged in an instant. How fast! Yulan exclaimed. This time, they had broken the formation from the outside and charged in. However, she seemed to have sensed someone flying over. Even with her strength as the eight-crowned king, she could not see clearly. This person's speed was terrifying. However, she did not observe carefully. Her main goal now was to take the soul-severing saber. In the next moment, Yulan arrived at the second hall. Countless people were deeply shocked. What a terrifying power! The dog-headed Taoist gasped. Eight-crowned king! Damn it, how could there be such a terrifying person? So it was someone from the Purple Mansion. Zhong Lingxiu sighed. In the next moment, the great Tao on her body intertwined. She pierced through the void and left quickly. The dog-headed Taoist also ran away. He transformed into a big dog and was very fast. Ziruo shouted angrily. She wanted to attack again, but she realized that the two guys were running very fast. She snorted. However, the others were not so lucky. Seal! A beam of light appeared in her hand. Countless orchids flew out and grew on the heads of these people. These people were all controlled. Their faces were all twisted. Chapter 57:13. The people following her felt their scalps go numb. They didn't think much of the eight-crowned king's defeat. Now that they saw Yulan's methods again, they were terrified. Her opponent was defeated because of the extreme weapon and the dragon sword soul. However, compared to the other boundary emperors, she was still a supreme existence. Didn't you see how she controlled hundreds of boundary emperors? Who could compare with such methods? After Yulan controlled those experts, she said to Zilan. He then said to Ziruo, "Let's begin. You activate the extreme grade weapon and I will use these people as puppets. Draw out the soul cutter. Next, I'll use an immortal technique. The two of us will work together to control the soul cutter." Zilan walked out and took a deep breath. They started to move. On Lin Xian's side, after he recovered his strength, he went on his way again. The front was pitch black. However, he still walked over resolutely. Since he wanted to go against the heavens, he wasn't afraid of anything. The people of the Divine Union followed the other great emperor clans and chosen immortal tribe. They were nervous. They didn't know what was waiting for them ahead. Lin Xian was still fine. He looked serious. On the other hand, Qing Cheng and Rui were injured. Their delicate faces were covered in dust. On the Crimson Dragon's side, there were a few cracks on the array. Obviously, the previous battle had put them under a lot of pressure. There was a huge crack in front of them. It looked like an abyss that had been split in half by a sword. An extremely terrifying death aura was emitted from there. Even the Hellfire Dragon frowned. He said, "Kid, I have a bad feeling. It seems like some kind of power is emerging." Hearing the Hellfire Dragon's words, the surrounding people were nervous. Boom! 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 At this moment, 24 black coffins flew out from the crack in front of them. Then, they formed an array in the air and enveloped everyone. There were black coffins in all directions, in the sky and on the ground. With a crack, the black coffins opened. A monstrous death aura filled the air. One figure after another walked out from the crowd. 24 figures. Some had long swords on their backs, some had chains in their hands, and some had giant blades on their backs. These people were tall, short, fat, thin, young, old, and beautiful. Furthermore, the flesh on these people's bodies were all rotten and emitted a corrosive smell. It made people frown deeply. Their Taoist robes were also in tatters. These were dead people, but they had been summoned by someone. Not good, these people seemed to be 7 crown kings. 24 7-crown champions. That was an extremely powerful force. Furthermore, these people could be controlled by others. This meant that they were all extremely terrifying existences among 7 crowned kings. Ancestor! Kaiser Blood exclaimed in shock, his body trembling. Lin Xian frowned. What's going on? Kaiser Blood said. The one with the blood-colored saber is our chosen immortal clan's ancestor. When I was a teenager, I had heard of him. The blood race members were all stunned. This was their ancestor's ancestor. How frightening was this? After the blood clan, a few other misters also shouted out. Ancestor! Ancestor! The patriarch of that year! These people were all crazy. Damn it, was this the Soul Emperor's method? This was too hateful. Even our ancestor was dead, he didn't let it go. Someone shouted angrily. However, a bolt of lightning struck down from the sky, directly killing that person's soul. Everyone's scalp went numb. Some people paled. Idiot, cursing the Soul Emperor in front of the Soul Emperor's tomb, did he want to die? The others hurriedly shook their heads. To be disrespectful to the Soul Emperor here was courting death. Everyone was shocked, as if they were facing a great enemy. However, Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. His Rinnegan bloomed with a mysterious light. He felt a familiar aura. It was related to the 6 paths of reincarnation. Lin Xian looked around. But the surroundings were pitch black. His soul was still suppressed here. Moreover, the suppression was even more terrifying. He felt that the people around him were suppressed by 70%. Lin Xian should be suppressed by 50% of his soul. It was too terrifying. Everyone's faces became incomparably pale. They could only defend. Older brother Xian, this place is so terrifying. Even though we were tempered by the soul-splitting saber before, even though we had been suppressed by the Soul Emperor, it seemed that there was more than 60% suppression. It was almost 70%. Lin Xian frowned. Could it be that it had something to do with the 6 paths of reincarnation? He had indeed sensed a familiar aura. He only had one Rinnegan. He could use the Heavenly Tao, Earth Tao, and Human Tao. In addition, there were 3 other paths in the 6 paths. They were the Azura Path, the Hungry Ghost Path, and the Hell Path. They represented different powers. If it was the power to control corpses, then it should be the Hell Path. Could it be that this place had the power of the Hell Path and the 6 paths of reincarnation? Lin Xian was extremely excited. This power was also incomparably mysterious. He was just curious. He didn't know where the other Rinnegan was. Was there anyone who could condense it? Boom! At this time, the ancient powerhouses who walked out of the coffins in front began to move. Among them, a woman took out a bow and arrow in her hand. It was a big black bow. It was incomparably heavy. As soon as it appeared, it shook the void. Then, the power in her body condensed into sword chi. With a stab, tens of thousands of arrows shot out. Like a rain of arrows, they fell down. Not good, quickly block. Everyone's soul was suppressed. So they quickly blocked. Some people used immortal spells, while others used divine abilities. Terrifying phantoms, physiques, and shields began to block these. For a moment, countless flames filled the air, extremely dazzling. Boom! Ah! Not long after, someone screamed. On the black demon race's side, many people were instantly pierced. Their bodies turned into corpse water. Damn it, what a strong corrosive power! On the black demon race's side, someone condensed and formed a huge black demon shield. It stood indomitable like a huge mountain. But it was instantly melted. Dozens of figures behind shattered. Damn it, it was too scary. Boom! At this time, a man with a long saber on his back walked out. The blood-colored long saber was displayed, like a blood dragon, baring its fangs and brandishing its claws, killing a portion of people. Next, 24 powerhouses attacked one after another. In the end, an overwhelming power covered the sky and earth. It enveloped everyone. Quick, break out of the encirclement. They could either retreat or kill their way forward. No one dared to delay. They identified a direction and quickly broke out. A great battle broke out in an instant. On Lin Xian's side, countless green lotuses bloomed. Yan Ryu used an extreme defense. At the same time, she asked, Lin Xian, what are you going to do? Everyone looked at Lin Xian. Lin Xian said, I feel the power of the 6 paths of reincarnation here. Perhaps one of them is here. I'm going to take a look. The 6 paths of reincarnation? Murong Qingqing and the others were also shocked after hearing this. Such a mysterious power was actually here. Could it be that the Soul Emperor had once controlled the 6 paths of reincarnation? No one knew. The Hellfire Dragon also narrowed its eyes. I heard that the 6 paths of reincarnation had several masters. Chapter 57:14. Lin Xian frowned when he heard that. At this moment, De Long also spoke. He said, The Samsara sword has indeed had several masters. The last one was the Samsara master. However, after him, the Samsara sword has been broken. The power of the Samsara sword has also been scattered throughout the universe. Lin Xian was surprised. He asked, Where is the Samsara master? Is he dead? De Long sighed. He turned into the Samsara master to protect everyone. When the time is right, he will return. Lin Xian did not understand. De Long did not explain further. However, he had his own conjecture. The Samsara sword had been broken. The Samsara master had turned into the Samsara sword, causing the power of the Samsara sword to be scattered. For example, there was a sect called the 6 Dao sect on Burial Earth that had the Samsara body. Thinking about it, the founder of the 6 paths of reincarnation must have obtained a trace of the power of reincarnation. The Rinnegan might have been transformed by the power of the Samsara sword. Of course, that was not all. Therefore, the Rinnegan should be able to summon the Samsara sword. As if seeing Lin Xian's conjecture, De Long added, When the Samsara master turned into the Samsara sword, he took away most of the power of the Samsara sword. The remaining Samsara sword formed the lesser 6 Dao sect. Lin Xian was extremely shocked. What kind of battle had happened back then? Even the Samsara sword had been broken. Even the samsara master seemed to have fallen and turned into the samsara sword. Was there really such a terrifying existence in the depths of the Paramitha? He asked. Delong said. The Paramitha is terrifying. The power they have is too frightening. Even the power of the Sixth Tao sect was estimated to be partly controlled by the Paramitha. Of course, it was the power of the lesser Sixth Tao sect. Therefore, you have to be careful. If there was really the held Tao of the Sixth Tao sect here, the people of the Paramitha would not let it go. Lin Xian took a deep breath. His expression became extremely solemn. The 24 ancient powerhouses around him had already started to attack. The laws engulfed everything, including the people of the Divine Union. Everyone fought and retreated. Lin Xian quickly rushed over. The power of Rinnegan bloomed. The illusion of the 6 paths of reincarnation appeared between heaven and earth. They emerged. Around him, the 24 ancient experts seemed to be affected by the power of reincarnation as their bodies stiffened. Taking advantage of this moment, everyone quickly counterattacked. Terrifying power hit their bodies. Among them, there were 2 ancient experts whose bodies were torn apart and shattered into pieces, scattering across the ground. Great! He was not invincible. The people from the Gu family were delighted, and the people from the Yi family were also smiling. But in the next moment, they couldn't laugh anymore. At the back, a surge of energy flew out from the corresponding coffin of the 24 experts and enveloped the other party. In the next moment, the bodies of the 2 shattered experts recombined. Although there were cracks where they were connected, they had formed a complete body. Boom! Terrifying immortal chi and precepts filled the air once again. Did he come back to life? Countless people were dumbfounded when they saw this scene. Was this an immortal existence? Even the people from the Emperor family were terrified. Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. No, these aren't immortal beings. To be precise, these were originally dead people. However, after they died, they were recombined. It was the power of the Naraka path that had gathered these people together. But where was the Naraka path? His eyes kept flickering. In the end, he stared at the 24 pitch-black ancient coffins. Just now, when the ancient powerhouses were shattered, a mysterious power had been emitted from the ancient coffins. Therefore, Lin Xian wanted to find out what was going on. His figure flashed as he turned into a black bolt of lightning and charged forward. The surrounding powerhouses attacked. Lin Xian used his sword to open the way. He turned into a dragon and slashed through all the attacks with his sword. He killed his way to the front of an ancient coffin. Roar! In front of the ancient coffin, the ancient powerhouse let out a low roar. He threw a punch. On his fist, the black-yellow spring's flame kept jumping. It emitted an incomparably cold aura as it charged towards Lin Xian. Lin Xian used the 9 Suns Saint Fire to fight against it. The 2 flames with completely opposite powers collided. With a boom, with the 2 of them as the center, it spread out in all directions. The void was torn apart. Some of the chosen immortal clan were also sent flying, vomiting blood. Retreat, retreat quickly. They were incomparably terrified. After one attack, Lin Xian blocked the other party's fist. His right Rinnegan bloomed with radiance. He looked past the other party and looked at the ancient coffin. The ancient coffin wasn't big. It was only 3 meters long and 1 meter wide. However, it was incomparably dark. It seemed that it couldn't be seen clearly at all. Lin Xian's Rinnegan turned into a sharp sword. When the light entered it, it was as if it entered a swamp. Reincarnation opened. The power of reincarnation kept stirring. The fog inside shook crazily as if it was about to be torn apart. In front of him, the powerhouse with the yellow spring's flame let out a miserable cry. The yellow spring's law on his body suddenly erupted, as if it had turned into the yellow springs of hell. He struck out with both palms at Lin Xian. At the same time, 4 streams of yellow springs water fell behind him. It also enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian roared angrily. Sword chi filled the air, like a divine sword that reached the sky, protecting him. He allowed the yellow springs to hit his body, but it couldn't hurt him at all. It was split apart by the sword chi. Boom! At the same time, Lin Xian used the power of his body and punched the other party. The yellow springs figure kept retreating. He roared angrily. Suppress! Lin Xian's right fist danced and punched 9 times in a row, completely shaking the other party. In the next moment, Lin Xian arrived in front of the black ancient coffin. He stood opposite the black ancient coffin. The black ancient coffin shook. A terrifying, cold, hellish aura spread from inside. The surrounding powerhouses and quasi-emperors were terrified. They looked at Lin Xian and trembled in fear. What is this kid doing? Is he thinking of entering the ancient coffin? What's in that ancient coffin? Countless voices discussing the Tao rang out. At this moment, an expert rushed over. His body was like a black shadow. He instantly charged towards the ancient coffin, passing by Lin Xian. When he passed by, he smiled coldly and said, "Kid, thank you for helping me clear the obstacles." This person was a member of the ghost race. Lin Xian sensed the same aura as the soul gatherer from this person. However, the soul gatherer from before was 6 Crown King, while this person before him was 7 Crown King. He was more than 10 times stronger than the soul gatherer. His strength was extremely terrifying. When he passed by Lin Xian, he sent a palm strike at Lin Xian. At the same time, he charged towards the ancient coffin. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He waved his sleeve, and a Taiji diagram appeared, blocking this attack. In the next moment, he frowned. This was because he saw that half of this 7 Crown King of the ghost race had already entered the ancient coffin. In the next moment, his entire body was inside. Did he succeed? In the distance, the ghost race was delighted. The others were also nervous. He wondered what the 7 Crown King would be able to find in there. The Qilin race shook their heads. This time, Lin Woody really made a fool of himself. Yes, after being arrogant for so long, he finally suffered a loss. He'll suffer in the future. Some people who didn't like Lin Xian sneered and mocked him. However, Lin Xian's brows were tightly knitted together. In the next moment, the corners of his mouth curled up in a cold smile. Stupid thing! Chapter 57:15. What did you say? The Qilin race's people were furious. Several elders walked out. They were now quasi-emperors. They shouted coldly, "Lin Woody, don't be too arrogant. It's no longer the same as before. It's not the time for you to sweep the world alone. We've all grown up. What right do you have to laugh at us?" These elders shouted coldly. Lin Xian looked at them and shook his head. "You're taking advantage of your seniority. You can't even see the power inside the ancient coffin. How dare you laugh at me here? Get lost. You!" The quasi-emperors of the Qilin race were so angry that they trembled. They couldn't help but want to attack Lin Xian. One of them stepped out. "I'd like to see what realm you've reached now, Lin Woody." The Qilin aura on his body spread. He was about to attack. At this moment, a mournful cry was heard from the black ancient coffin. It made one's scalp go numb. Those quasi-emperors also felt their hair stand on end. Damn it, what happened? Could it be that something went wrong? The expressions of the dead spirit race people changed drastically. Before they could react, black fog spread out from the ancient coffin in front of them, and a figure walked out. It was the 7 Crown King who went in earlier. Great, the patriarch came out. The dead spirit race people all breathed a sigh of relief. They all rushed over. What did the patriarch gain? These people were extremely excited. 7 Crown King suddenly attacked. He waved his sharp claws like the scythe of the Grim Reaper. The 7 people in front of him were all cut in half. Those 7 people fell into a pool of blood, their faces filled with despair. They were quasi-emperors too. However, they were only the 5 Crown King. There was a powerful 6 Crown King. At this moment, after being attacked by 7 Crown King, they couldn't escape at all. they died in despair. Why? Before they died, they couldn't understand why the patriarch would attack them. The remaining dead spirit race people retreated in fear. They knelt on the ground. Patriarch, please spare us. Patriarch, what did we do wrong? They kept kowtowing. The surrounding people were also stunned. What was going on? The Chilean race people also frowned. Even a vicious tiger wouldn't eat its cubs. Did Seven Crown King want to take the treasure for himself? That shouldn't be the case. Lin Xian sneered. A bunch of idiots. I'm no longer an ancestor. I've become someone else's puppet. What? Hearing Lin Xian's words, the expressions of the surrounding people changed greatly. The quasi-emperor of the Kirin race snorted. Brat, are you kidding me? Who could control Seven Crown King in the blink of an eye? How could they not sense someone with such strength? Lin Xian shook his head. You're really stupid. How could the Kirin clan have a trash like you? How dare you, kid? The old man was so angry that his entire body was trembling. He was a boundary emperor, yet he was being looked down upon. However, Lin Xian didn't pay any attention to him. He stood with his hands behind his back and said coldly, Look at his eyes. They had long become spiritless, their souls already extinguished. As soon as those words were spoken, the experts in the surroundings immediately began to investigate. Then, the people in the depths of the deity ground gasped. He was really dead. The others also exclaimed, No way! What kind of power was contained in that black ancient coffin? He was able to instantly kill Seven Crown King. Wasn't that too incredible? Countless people were terrified, and their scalps went numb. Lin Xian looked at the people of the Kirin race and sneered. Now you know who's the trash. The quasi-emperors of the Kirin race also turned pale. They hadn't sensed such danger before. Only Lin Xian had sensed it, and they had even mocked Lin Xian. Thinking of this, they were really embarrassed. This time, they had been slapped in the face. They didn't say a word, and their expressions were ugly. Lin Xian, on the other hand, suddenly attacked. With a backhand slash, he killed dozens of people of the dead spirit race nearby. Screams rang out. The people of the Kirin race were terrified. They quickly retreated and used the Kirin race to defend themselves. The people of the dead spirit race screamed, Damn kid, how dare you sneak attack us? They were crazy. They were already shocked when their patriarch sneaked an attack on them. Now, they were attacked by a young man. They couldn't bear it. Damn it! They all stood up. Do you really think that the dead spirit race is easy to bully? After all, they came from the depths of the deity ground and were extremely powerful. How could they be afraid of a young man? Lin Xian sneered. You also know that it's a sneak attack. Is there a person in your family called the Soul Gatherer? When he attacked me, didn't you think about the consequences? What? Soul Gatherer? Hearing this, the people of the dead spirit race on the opposite side changed their expressions. You assassinated us just because of the Soul Gatherer? Some experts were not convinced. Lin Xian snorted. If my trump card was weaker, I would have been killed by the Soul Gatherer. Don't you think I should take revenge? Do you think I only sneaked an attack on you? Today, none of you will be able to leave. Extremely terrifying killing intent bloomed in Lin Xian's eyes. When he was in the Black Demon race, there were 3 parties that attacked him. The patriarch of the Black Demon race had been killed, and the entire Black Demon race had surrendered. The sect master of the soul-killing sect had been controlled and turned into a puppet. Only the Soul Gatherer himself had been killed. However, the dead spirit race that he represented continued to roam free. How could Lin Xian let these people go? He wanted everyone to know what the consequences would be if they dared to assassinate him and make an enemy of him. Lin Xian took out a sword, which was surrounded by sword aura. The cosmos sword song. The sword, she rumbled, as if the gods were singing. Terrifying sword light swept out in all directions. Wherever it passed, the people of the dead spirit race fell one after another. Their bodies were split open and could not heal at all. Their souls were also mercilessly pierced. In the blink of an eye, hundreds of dead spirit race experts had died. Moreover, the number of people was still increasing. "Damn it, hurry up and defend!" summoned the Patriarch. The people of the dead spirit race frantically retreated. Defend. Boundless netherworld aura surged out, forming two enormous netherworld shields. They were thousands of meters tall and stood between the heavens and the earth, blocking the sword chi. At the same time, they called for help, calling for the Patriarch in the distance. The dead spirit race also sent 3 seven-crowned kings. Apart from the one who had died earlier, the other 2 were fighting in the distance. At this moment, one of the 7 crowned kings heard the call for help and quickly returned. However, just as he was about to return, Lin Xian struck out once again. With a shocking punch, he shattered a giant underworld shield into pieces. Countless cracks appeared in front of the dead spirit race experts, shattering into pieces. Those people trembled. How could there be such a terrifying person? What kind of existence did they provoke? With another punch, the second shield shattered. Next, Lin Xian spat out sword chi, which turned into a sea of swords and flew forward. How could those from the dead spirit race possibly resist? This wave of swords seemed to have covered the entire universe. The experts of the dead spirit tribe fell one after another. When the surrounding people saw this, their scalps went numb. This was a crushing defeat. With the strength of one person, he defeated the entire dead spirit race. How many years had it been since they had seen such a scene? How dare you! At this moment, a crazy roar sounded in the distance. 7 crowned king of the dead spirit race had rushed over. With a wave of his hand, dead spirit lightning turned into a lightning storm. It charged toward Lin Xian. Chapter 57:16. The lightning storm swept over. It carried a terrifying and destructive power, as well as a dark and cold aura. It was extremely terrifying. In the face of such a terrifying attack, the surrounding people scattered. Lin Xian threw a punch at him. Boom! A golden fist bloomed between heaven and earth. The aura of the purest yang swept out, charging at the lightning storm. The dark and cold aura of the lightning storm was completely extinguished by the flames. Then, the fist pierced through the storm and charged at 7 crowned king. With a boom, the fist collided with the other party. 7 crowned king felt as if all the bones in his body had cracked. He kept retreating, crashing through the void. In the next instant, he fell from the sky, half kneeling on the ground and spitting out a mouthful of blood. How can you be so powerful? He was stunned. There was a difference of 2 realms between them, and the other party did not use any weapons. How could he injure him with just the strength of his physique? What kind of strength was this? It was too terrifying. Lin Xian snorted. Trash. He stomped over, and the image of a dragon coiled under his feet. It was as if he had turned into a true dragon. Boom! Kacha sounds rang out. That 7 crowned king was sent flying, half of his bones broken. At the same time, Lin Xian slashed out with his sword. Vast sword chi danced, carrying a biting cold killing intent. Lin Xian had merged his Qianquan sword technique with the Azura sword technique. When the sword slashed out, it contained the vast power of heaven and earth, as well as a terrifying killing intent. Another 100 experts of the netherworld race died. It was as if Lin Xian had entered a realm where no one could block his sword. Damn it, I'll kill you! 7 crowned king roared. He took out a black box that floated in front of him. At the same time, endless black runes spread out from his body. Clearly, he was using a terrifying immortal spell. The Netherworld Finger. When he pointed out, a sinister wind swirled around it. It was as if a ghost had descended, revealing a dark and cold aura. Some of the people closer were shocked and retreated in fear. They felt as if their souls were being corroded. It was as if they were turning into dark puppets. This immortal spell was too terrifying. The remaining members of the Dead Spirit clan also grinned hideously. Great, the patriarch is angry. Let's see how this kid dies. How could such a finger technique be called a peerless immortal technique? I'll let you see what a true killing move is. Lin Xian's sword chi flickered, killing intent surged from his body. Absolute kill sword, Azura finger. The Azura sword's skill was brandished continuously in the air, and the 5 sword lights linked together. It was as if the finger of the Azura god was pointing forward. The murderous intent it contained caused countless people to be terrified. Even the sect master of the Soul Slayer sect was so scared that he knelt down on one knee and kept surrendering. In the face of such a murderous aura, no one could withstand it. Not good. When 7 Crowned King saw this, his expression changed drastically. At this moment, his confidence was shaken again. When the 2 fingers collided, the finger that carried the Spectre God was immediately split apart. Not only that, but the Azura sword was also aimed at his forehead. Before the sword arrived, the space between his brows had already split open. No, you can't kill me. I admit defeat, he roared crazily. However, this was a battle of life and death. How could he admit defeat? Lin Xian was unmoved. The Azura sword continued to stab into the other party's forehead. Stop! At this moment, another roar came from the distance. However, it was already too late. This sword pierced through the other party's head and killed his soul. After the sword, 7 Crowned King was still standing there, but his vitality had been extinguished. Whoosh, the last person, a youth in a black robe, landed. He looked at the dead 7 Crowned King, so angry that his entire body trembled. He turned his head, killing intent surging in his eyes. You dare to kill him? Why wouldn't I dare? Not only will I kill him, but I'll also kill you. Lin Xian used the Rinnegan, and a ray of reincarnation power appeared in the sky. A pair of eyes appeared, and he struck out with both palms, directly injuring the other party's soul. The new 7 Crowned King was seriously injured in the blink of an eye. He was terrified and turned around to escape. Lin Xian sneered. You are the last powerhouse of the Dead Spirit race, right? After I kill you, there will be no more powerhouses from the Dead Spirit race coming to the ancient tomb. When I get out of the ancient tomb, I'll destroy the Dead Spirit race. A cold voice rang out, making everyone's scalps go numb. In the sky, the soul palms descended once again. No, was he going to die? The youth's face was filled with despair and disbelief. However, at this moment, a blade light swept over from the distance and actually cut off the soul palms. It had saved him. Lin Xian's pupils shrank. Someone was actually able to cut off the soul energy. Who was it? He looked into the distance. The others were also shocked. They all looked over. In the next instant, they saw a group of people flying back. This group of people had powerful auras. There was purple chi from the east, as well as blade light and sword light. It was the people of the Purple Mansion. They had returned. Countless people cried out in alarm. The people of the Divine Union sneered. They were just defeated, yet they still dared to return. Lin Xian also narrowed his eyes. These people were nothing to be afraid of. He stared at the 8 Crowned King and said in a low voice, Are you here to die? Lin Woody, you are too arrogant. Today, I will send you to hell, Yulan said coldly. She was here for revenge. The Purple Mansion Master also walked out and said with a smile, Lin Woody, your time has come. You think you can do it? Lin Xian was disdainful. The Purple Mansion Master snorted. Just you wait. Then, he looked at the 7 Crowned King and said, We saved you. Submit to us. Thank you for saving me. I am willing to submit. The 7 Crowned King could only rely on the Purple Mansion. Very good. The corners of the Purple Mansion Master's mouth curled up. Then, they swarmed over and surrounded Lin Xian. It was as if they were afraid that he would run away. Lin Xian sneered. Show me what you have. Ordinary strength is no match for me. What he said was indeed correct. With his current strength, even if he were to face the 8-crown King Yulan, he would still be able to injure her. After all, he had a lot of trump cards. Yulan walked out and said in a low voice, I know you have the dragon sword soul and an extreme weapon. But this time, you are no match for me. Because I brought this thing. Then, she waved her hand. Thunder clouds rolled in the sky and the void cracked. A terrifying power spread out. Everyone was stunned. What was it that could make these people so confident? In the next instant, when they sensed that terrifying soul aura, they were all stupefied. Some people's pupils shrank. Could it be that thing? That shouldn't be possible, right? How could he have obtained that item? These people roared crazily. Murong Qingqing and the others' pupils shrank. It was the energy of the soul cutter. They could control the soul cutter. The Crimson Dragon jumped up. I can't be wrong. This Purple Mansion Master is too crazy. He could even bring the soul cutter. In the sky, the Purple Mansion Master laughed. Yes, it is the soul cutter. Lin Woody, are you desperate now? As his voice fell, a long sword appeared in the crack in the sky. Chapter 57:17. The soul-slicing blade specialized in slicing one's soul. These people had all experienced the soul-slicing blade before. They had no way of dealing with this weapon. All they could do was block it. It wasn't easy to block it either. Only an extreme-grade aura could block it. At this moment, the Purple Mansion Master took out the dragon-pattern cauldron. He looked down at Lin Xian from above and said, I know that you have 3 extreme-grade weapons. However, do you dare to use them together? You will have to bear 3 times the power of the Great Emperor. No matter how strong you are, you won't be able to withstand it. Therefore, you will definitely die this time. Boom! 2 dragons emerged from the dragon-pattern cauldron and grabbed the soul-slicing blade. They used the extreme-grade power to activate the soul-slicing blade. This way, they could deceive the Great Emperor's power in the ancient tomb. Everyone went crazy when the blade slashed down. Back off quickly. Everyone dodged. Lin Xian shouted angrily. Retreat! He said to the people of the Divine Union. At the same time, his body kept swaying. With a loud boom, he created 6 illusions of the 6 realms. However, they were all shattered by the blade. In the next instant, his face turned pale. Many people's souls were extinguished by this slash of the saber. These people were crazy. I want to go home. Those people were so frightened that they roared. At this moment, it was unknown if they had sensed the power of the soul-slicing blade. The 24 ancient powerhouses in the surroundings attacked crazily. They started to reap the lives of the people around them. A huge battle broke out in an instant. The 24 ancient powerhouses attacked continuously like machines. They weren't afraid of being destroyed at all. This was because the destroyed bodies could be reassembled instantly. What was even more strange was that the people who were killed seemed to have become puppets, fighting machines. More and more puppet armies appeared. This was the power of the Hell Path. Although it couldn't bring the dead back to life, it could still fight after death. Under such circumstances, some people from the Soul Sect, Black Devil Sect, and even the Divine Union died. Then, they turned into fighting machines. Lin Xian couldn't care less about this. The soul-slicing blade in the sky was aimed at him. This made him feel as if he was facing a great enemy. His sky-devouring jar could indeed block it. However, this kind of passive counterattack made him feel extremely depressed. He said coldly, If you want to die, I'll fulfill your wish. Originally, he hadn't planned on killing the 8-crown king here. However, the other party was truly too despicable. He had even brought the soul-severing saber. Since the other party wanted to kill him so badly, he didn't mind revealing some of his trump cards in advance. Send him out. Do you really think you can kill me? Yulan sneered. The soul-slashing saber slashed down again. At this moment, Lin Xian waved his hand and the universe ring flew forward in an arc. It collided with the soul cutter. It was useless. Other than extreme weapons that could block it, nothing else could block it. Yulan laughed loudly. Indeed, after she came, the Emperor clans and chosen immortal clans all suffered heavy losses. On the Divine Union side, there were also casualties. Everyone lowered their heads in front of Yulan. Even the people from the martial monarch clans wanted to flee. How could he resist such a person? They believed that the best outcome for Lin Xian would be to escape with the heaven-devouring jar injured. It would be impossible for him to kill Yulan. However, Lin Xian defied the heavens. The more impossible something was, the more he wanted to do it. So what if he was the eight-crowned king? So what if he was the soul-severing saber? He could still kill the other party. The universe ring flew into the sky with a mysterious power. There was a loud clang. It collided with the soul-severing saber. Shatter. Yulan sneered. The people from the Purple Mansion clan also had disdainful expressions. What could go against the soul-severing saber? However, in the next instant, they were all stunned. They discovered that a small bracelet had blocked the terrifying soul-severing saber. How was this possible? Yulan's pupils shrank. The Purple Mansion clan master also exclaimed, "What is that thing? How come I've never seen it before?" He had fought with Lin Xian many times before. He was all too familiar with Lin Xian. He also knew all the treasures on Lin Xian's body. However, he had never seen this small bracelet before. It was not the heaven-devouring jar, nor the dragon sword soul, but it had the power to block the soul-severing saber. Could it be a new treasure that the other party had obtained? Damn it, why hadn't he heard of it before? He was too careless. He was just about to remind him. At this time, Lin Xian flew over. The demon god wings on his back unfolded, making his speed extremely fast. In an instant, he was in front of Yulan. Not good. The Purple Mansion clan master was so scared that he retreated frantically. He reminded, "Senior, he has the firmament wristband, so he has a chance to ignore the armor. If he cooperates with the dragon sword soul, we can't resist the invincible power at all." As he spoke, he called back the dragon wending cauldron in front of him. A terrifying extreme Dao aura protected them. Yulan also shouted angrily and shot out the empty valley orchid. Huge orchids covered heaven and earth. That tenacious power was enough to shatter the heavens. Lin Xian laughed. "What? Are you afraid? Then you shouldn't have provoked me." Lin Xian shouted angrily. The dragon sword soul spread out, cutting a crack in the void. The dragon wending cauldron's defense cracked. The people of the Purple Mansion sucked in a cold breath. The Purple Mansion clan master sneered. "It's useless. You just opened it. But you can't hurt us." He was ready to activate the dragon pattern cauldron again. However, Lin Xian was very fast. With a wave of his hand, a black vortex flew out. There was something wrapped in it, and it flew towards Yulan. It was a statue. It was incomparably white and holy, like an angel. However, there was a demon horn on its forehead. This was the heavenly demon statue. Previously, the sixth dragon general had used this thing to damage Lin Xian's Dao heart. In the end, he was suppressed by Lin Xian. This was an extremely terrifying thing. Legend had it that even the nine-crowned king had been affected. Dao heart should be enough to deal with the eight-crowned king now. Sure enough, when the heavenly demon statue appeared in front of Yulan's face instantly changed. She felt that her soul and will of the great Dao were affected. It was as if her entire body was about to go berserk. "No!" he roared in horror. "This is a heavenly demon. Damn it, how do you have such a thing?" She let out a shrill cry. When the people beside her heard this, they immediately fled. A heavenly demon was in existence that could destroy one's Dao heart. The Purple Mansion clan master also turned around and fled. Damn it, use your extreme Dao weapon to help me! Yulan roared crazily. However, the Purple Mansion clan master's face was pale. He was only the 6th crown king. Just now, when he approached the heavenly demon, he felt that his soul was about to split open. He could only attack from afar and activate the dragon pattern cauldron. However, it was blocked by the heaven-swallowing jar. At this moment, the universe ring flew back to Lin Xian's hand. The soul-slashing saber erupted with light again. Lin Xian shouted, "Qing Qing! Qing Qing!" throughout the desolate tower to fight against the soul-slashing saber. Lin Xian smiled. This time, who could save her? Under the heavenly demon, she would turn into ashes. Yulan was completely affected by the heavenly demon. She let out a miserable cry and rolled in the sky, flying crazily from all directions. Everywhere she passed, there was the power of the heavenly demon. This was because the heavenly demon statue was hovering above her head. In fact, 2 people from the chosen immortal clan didn't have time to escape. Similarly, they were affected by the power of the heavenly demon. Crazy. Everyone retreated crazily. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.